like the Eagles got back together, Fleetwood Mac got back together. Would you, Ricky and Steve, would you ever get the band back together?
But isn't it... What... When the Eagles got back together, was it any good?
I think so. They called it When Hell Freezes Over, because one of them had said, would you ever get back together? And they went, when Hell Freezes Over.
I just wonder if things have changed. I mean, one of the things people liked, I think, and it's dangerous to try and work out what it is that people like about you, but I think what they liked about the radio show with Ricky and Steve was that they were sort of on the up. They're just on The Office. They're like show busy. And then there's me just there to play in the adverts. And I used to get a bit scared when they were swearing. And I'm meant to be responsible for them, and I could get the sack here.
Yeah.
And I think people like that sort of...
Dynamic,
yeah. Say if we go back to it, and I've grown up. I can sort of hold my own a bit more, thanks to them. The stuff they put me through did change me and broaden my mind. That was Steve's aim with all the travel stuff. And I kind of feel like... I think people will feel a little bit... yeah, it was good. It's good to know that they're not dead, but it sort of ruined what I used to like about it. And maybe, they listen back to it, and it takes them back to the time when they were younger and everything. Whereas we'll be sat there talking, they'll go and see a picture of the three of us and go, Jesus, they've aged, haven't they? And suddenly, oh, so have I. And then suddenly, it's not the same. I don't think everything can come back. You watch Top of the Pops 2 or Top of the Pops on BBC 4. And you go, oh, it's 1988. Let's watch 1988, and you go, Jesus Christ, what a shit year for music this was. But at the time, it was good. Yeah. So, Derek B, the rapper, I used to think he was quite cool. And I hear him now and go, what a shit rap this is. I love the beat on the street. And you kind of go, turn it off. So sometimes you just have to leave. I saw Brother Beyond. It was shocking, this song they did. These stupid jeans on. And at the time, it was like, yeah, Brother Beyond.
They were so cool, weren't they? Yeah. They were so cool.
And it just, you look back and you can't go back. You can't always go back. And I prefer people to say, oh, it'd be brilliant if you lot got back together and did a podcast. I prefer them to keep that in their head, that would be amazing. Then
the thought of it being amazing,
which is what I said at the start about a dream. Don't achieve your dream, and that it's the same thing. It's the same point, isn't it?
But I guess the dynamic would be different. So, like, Phil Collins used to play drums in Genesis, then becomes the lead singer. So if you,
who am I?
You Phil Collins.
Phil Collins, just because he's got a little round bald head.
I love Phil
right,
Collins.
Yeah, all right.
What I mean is, if you did get it back, the dynamic would be different. You would hold your own more.
Yeah, but is that what people liked about it? I don't know. Who knows? It could happen because it's so easy, isn't it? It's so easy. You've just got to have a bit of time and 3 mics, and it doesn't. And it's not live. We could do it and see what it's like. But there'd be a lot of pressure on it. I imagine even going in and going, let's just see what happens. We didn't know when we started doing podcasts. We didn't know if that was going to work or not. When I did the travel stuff, I didn't know people were going to be... I just did it because it's like, oh, I'll take the money, it's on Sky. And at that point, not many people had Sky. It's like, oh, no one will see it. Great. And then suddenly it's like, shit, people are watching it.
It's one of the most successful shows in Sky's history, isn't it?
But that's what I'm saying. Suddenly you sit down, there's a different pressure. There's something there, that the past, and you're going, will we live up to what we did? And sometimes that's why you've got to move on, because it's very hard to do something when you know something was successful.
Sure.
So, I don't know, though. I'm not going to say never, because they say you shouldn't, but he's slim, I think.
Carl, are you thinking of starting a family?
Only if, an accident happens or something.
Yeah. Were you there, Rick, when we were chatting about this the other day?
Oh, yeah, no.
What did you say,
Well,
Carl?
we were talking about his career and that, because he's on MTV, and I was going, oh, you got to do this now. He's going, look, if it happens, it happens. I've said to Suzanne, if it happens, it happens. She goes, well, what are your plans? Staying with a baby. She said, are we going to have kids tonight? I go, look, if it happens, it happens. I go, well, how would it happen? He goes, if a condom splits.
Amazing. I love the idea that that's the way you plan for a child. Imagine telling them that. Where was I conceived? Can't remember. The condom split.
Yeah. You're an accident.
I love that. The romantic nature of that is just
I was told I was an accident, but, it doesn't matter, does it? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Do many people sit down and say, right, do you think we should?
Yes.
Well, they lay down.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
You can't sit down, you haven't got time for that discussion.
No, it doesn't mean the conception. I think it means bringing up a child till it's 18.
But the thing is, as well, it's one of them, innit? It's like, if you think about having one, you go, well, the sort of negatives, outweigh the positives.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Go on.
But if you have one, you go, oh, it's not that bad, is it?
So what are the positives and what are the negatives?
Like I say, the negatives outweigh it. I can't think of that many positives. They get in the way, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Cost you a lot.
Costs a lot of money. Same with marriage. Like Suzanne's saying, we'll get married, so what for?
Well, marriage doesn't cost anything.
Well, it does.
Well, no, not if you go to the registry office and then buy a house.
But then what's the point?
Well, tax breaks, presents.
I don't think you get them anymore.
Don't you?
I looked into that.
You old romantic. What would you rather have, a ring or a 3% saving?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, I don't see the point anyway.
I got down on one knee and presented her with some inland revenue forms.
yeah.
Just to show the benefits.
That is great. I mean, if you are planning it, I think you got to involve me and Steve in the radio station, because it'll be. I mean, you take quite a lot on, don't you?
Mm.
So if you've got a kid at home and you're not sleepy, you haven't slept since you were 12, you've got this, you've got MTV, you've got a kid. It might be one step too far, because I wouldn't want to push you over the edge.
Well,
Now, see, go on. Sorry.
No, I just was going to say, I was talking to Suzanne last night about it and saying, about earning money and that, and she said, well, you're already sort of earn a little bit more than me. So, if you get loads of money, she said, I'd be happy staying at home and doing nothing, maybe looking after a kid. I said, oh, so that's not happening.
Right.
I said, I could have a load of money now tucked away, I could have won some money and I wouldn't tell you. I still want sort of that cheque offer every month. Because I get a cheque offer to sort of pay the bills.
Yeah.
And I think you need to keep that in a relationship.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Work as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not working as a team.
Of course it is.
Well, no, you share everything. Sharing everything is working as a team,
Yeah.
whether you
Look,
earn
you
most or whether
stashing some 35 grand back.
It's not like you think that, oh no, I won the pools, but I give her half, she'll get lazy, she'll just sit around the house doing nout. So she's still got to go to work in a job she hates.
Yeah.
I'll tell you though, she thinks that it'd be the worst thing that could happen if we got a load of money. Because she'd want to go to Egypt, I'm not going.
Why would she want to go to Egypt?
I don't, that's what I said.
No, why would she? Why does she want to go to Egypt? She wins a lot of money.
She said it's meant to be pretty good.
So the incredible wonders of the pyramids and the Sphinx and so on, that's not of any interest to you?
I've seen it though on the telly and that. I don't want to go all that way just to see it.
Exactly.
Right.
No, exactly. That's
To experience other cultures, other lifestyles, travel broadens the mind.
Well, you don't.
No, not really.
You've seen enough different ones here, haven't you?
Yeah.
There's parts of Wiven. Oh, you haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you don't want to make enough money. You don't want to make a lot of money because you're worried that Suzanne might want to go to Egypt.
And then that'll be.
No.
And that's
I
going to
don't
tear
want
you
to tell
apart.
her that I'm making a lot of money. I can still tuck it away.
Right.
And what will you do with it? When are you going to spend it? When you turn up in a big converted limo, it goes da 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 da. Come on, we're going to bingo. Where'd you get the car from? Never thee mind. Right? What? Won't she be suspicious? When you've got a pet chimp. You know what I mean?
What are you? I mean, yeah. What would you spend it on? Is there nothing that you want for?
No, I've never. No, there's now at the moment. Honestly, it's I'm quite happy. Do you know what I mean? I don't ask for much.
But you're not happy. You're always whinging and moaning.
Always whinging.
Clearly, there's something wrong.
What if someone gave you? What? Okay, right. Let's be serious. We're not talking about billions, right? But if someone gave you a cash injection, just a one-off cash payment of £250,000, okay, what would you do with it? I mean, that's too easy, because that should obviously be a house. That should be the best house you can find in London.
I probably want to go and see a tornado.
I've never really had like a dream. I've just bumbled along. Because, like I've said, it's that thing of
Clackered,
sort of
limsy. It's like, call my fucking bluff.
There's no point sort of wishing for too much, because if you don't get it, you'll be fed up. So it's better just to sort of go, well, let's see what's around the corner. This is what I've said to you about a sat-nav system.
Right.
Isn't it? It's the same thing. Yeah, sure, have the sat-nav. Type in where you want to go, and it'll take you straight there. But what I say is, use the back streets. Have a look around, turn off. Don't go straight ahead, turn right. The little dead ends.
Yeah.
Have a look.
Well, you might get mugged.
Have a look.
Don't go down the dead ends.
Why not?
You've got to reverse back out
There's
again.
nothing there. Dead end.
No, but have a look.
Well, there's nothing there. It's dead end.
Well, what's the road doing there then?
Well, it's a dead end. There's
Yeah, but
dead
there must
ends.
be something down there.
There's nothing. It's dead. It's just ends.
Just a wall.
Right, so it's not a problem. Reverse.
Well, don't go down in the first place if you know it's a dead end. Don't tell people to go down a dead end. They've got to reverse out. Difficult.
Well, I'd say just have a look. You see, that's the difference between me and you. I'd
Right.
have a look down the dead
It's
end.
dead end. No, don't worry. It's
What's
dead
down
end.
there?
Dead
Just
nothing, mate. Dead end.
Rubbish? Just
Yeah, no,
rubbish?
nothing. Dead
Nothing
end.
at all?
Yeah, no, put going there. Dead end.
Right, so I'll go, well, I'll just have a look for myself because I don't believe you.
Okay, well, go on then.
Right, I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this I've found.
What have you found?
Box of money that you didn't know about. All I'm saying is it could be
He has still
anything.
got the brain of a 10-year-old, hasn't he?
of money.
He's still got the brain of a 10-year-old.
I'm just, set your stall out.
Right. So where's the store? Where are you setting the store? Not in the dead end.
Dead end, 'cause there's no through traffic.
thoroughfare. Yeah, you want to be on
This
a
is
sort of
crazy.
public highway. Where are you setting the stall out? What are you selling? What are you selling?
Well, this is what I'm saying to you.
What are you selling
I'm
first?
selling a mixture of stuff.
What? Like what?
All sorts.
What have you bought it with? A bag of money you found in the dead end?
Leg warmers.
So you got new leg warmers with do you want cufflinks with them? What? Do you want cufflinks with them leg warmers? Well, no. Why would I do that? Well, you got to fucking look smart, ain't you? You cunt.
So you're selling, what are you selling?
So,
Yeah.
you set your stall out.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
Yes.
isn't it dangerous to sell all the same product in that shop?
Right.
Okay,
I don't know what you're talking
where's the
about.
analogy going? This is
Yeah.
a metaphor. I think it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Or simile. It's a
What,
simile.
what are you selling? What are you selling first? Bang. Two,
hang on.
three, four.
No, but
Quick,
this is
it's
what
The
I'm saying
Apprentice.
to you. This is what I'm saying
Go
to you,
on.
though. I
Right.
just said to you,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know what you wanted to do. You haven't told me. But
Right.
I'm
Do you want me
saying,
to tell you what I wanted to be when I wanted to be... Well, at 5 years old, I wanted to own a sweet shop until my mum said, you know, you got to buy the sweets first. Right. From 10, I wanted to be like a scientist. 15, a vet kicked in.
But at
Carry
some
on.
point you jettisoned all of that to try and pursue a pop career.
20, I wanted to be a pop star. 25, I thought I'd better get a job.
well,
At 30, I did.
me saying turn off the main road and do a right
Yes.
is saying just have a look around in the same way that if you go into a
It was
shop,
a metaphor, wasn't it?
yeah,
Right.
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
In the same way that if you go into a shop, you're thinking I'm getting a quarter of bonbons.
Right, bum-bums. Bum-bums.
But by the time you get to the counter,
You're clackered.
and you get some licorice all sorts instead because you thought, actually, I forgot about them.
Sorry, now this isn't a metaphor, is it? This is a real shop now, isn't it?
I just mean you're gonna be let down. You're gonna be very, very disappointed with life if you know
But I haven't been disappointed
If
with
what? If what?
if
what?
if
If what?
the thing you're aiming for
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
But what if it does happen? I'd like to take issue with this because there's a lot of young people who listen to our podcasts, and if they listen to this tripe that if you try for something in life it won't happen, so don't bother, I think it's a bloody disgrace.
No.
Imagine if Leona Lewis had thought that when she went on the bloody X Factor. She wouldn't have got punched by that bloke in that. Alright, that doesn't make sense. But you know what I mean? She would not be living her dreams.
Yeah, but we don't know what Leona wanted to do. She might
She
have had a
wanted to be a
backup
singer,
plan.
that's why she's done it.
She might have had a backup plan.
Yeah, but she fulfilled the main ambition, which was to sing. That's why she went on the show. She didn't go on there because she thought I might want to work down a branch of Waterstones.
Do you think she went in there and said, quarter bum-bums? She went, oh, this is X Factor, but she went, oh, go on then.
Well, I was saying.
Well, what about the girl who looked like a fat baby? She went on there with a dream. It's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah!
But the point is, I'm not saying you all have to go on the X Factor if you're a hopeless idiot. I'm saying if you've got a little bit of talent and you pursue it, it might take you somewhere. If you want to be a vet or a doctor or pop star, you might have a chance. You may as well
Yeah.
have a stab for it than say, oh, it's alright, I'll just sit around in my underpants.
Yeah, they're doing a new one, the X-ray Factor, where you can actually, you know, become a top radiologist.
But I've said this for an idea. I think
Go on.
they should do that. Because how many singers do we need in the world? You see, that's the thing. We're talking
Yeah.
about the future.
Yeah.
I think we're not going to talk anymore. I think we're all... it's going to be like living in an opera. The way
Yeah.
things are going on now, everyone wants to sing.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you did a TV programme to try and get a doctor, you know...
X-ray Factor.
You know, it's
Yeah.
all about, you know, getting in young kids, do live surgery. You know, there's big queues anyway. People are queuing up to have operations done.
Yeah.
So you say, look, Hilda, you have got a problem with your left bunion. You can either wait for your proper doctor and hospital, but it's going to be a 2-year waiting list.
Or you can have Jedward do it
Are
for
you
you.
free Saturday night, live?
Because we've got two 17-year-olds who are going to do it.
Hilda! She comes out. They
Little
sort...
voice! I've never heard him do a little voice before!
So hang on, wait,
Okay, good. So this is, okay, what is this? This is a talent show where people can have a go at being a doctor. Right?
Well, this
They
is
need-
like something from the Middle Ages.
But they need volunteers who would rather have an apprentice, someone have a go.
It's not even an apprentice, it's someone with no training at all.
Yeah.
They learn how to do major operations in a week.
But no, not major ones. That's for the final. You do a heart,
Oh, of course, yeah,
you do a
you've got to
heart
build up to that,
transplant,
sure.
But you're
A
building
heart
up.
transplant for the final. That's
So anyway,
amazing.
so it's Hilda, and Hilda's not the person, she's not operating, she's just the person who needs her
No,
bunion removed.
she's the foot problem. Yeah.
So she comes in, they have a quick chat with
Have
her.
a chat with her. How's your life been? Bit of Coldplay under her. She's
Yeah.
going, oh, it's terrible. I can hardly walk and all that. And they go, right.
Here's a fowl who looks like a baby.
And then
And you think this is a good, you don't see any problems with this so far? You've not identified any concerns yet?
if it means you get younger people into other jobs other than singing,
I agree with you. I think it's crazy that everyone now just wants to be famous, a singer or something, and we don't need them. They're just contriving
sick
it.
of- I'm sick
All they're
of
doing
singers.
is knocking the last one off the top number one spot. It's just a factory.
But I'm not talking about everyone should try and be a singer, am I? What I'm saying is, sometimes you're allowed to pursue your dreams, and they might be, you may fulfil those dreams.
Yeah,
There's nothing
Steve,
wrong with that.
Steve.
It may be that you want to operate on a woman called Hilda or a bunion.
Steve.
Pursue that
Go
dream.
on.
But according to your negative views, we shouldn't even try and do that either.
what
Go
I'm
on.
saying is,
Go on. What's he saying?
Leona was an example. I'm not saying everyone should try and be like Leona.
no, but
Listen to his point, Stephen, because he's got a very good point coming up
Here it
now.
comes. This is it.
Okay. He hasn't said a normal word yet, but he's going to say some now, and they're all going to be profound.
people's dreams aren't their own dreams.
Oh, hold on. What do you mean by that?
Okay, keep going. No, keep going. Keep going. Let him, no. He'll explain. You don't need to ask any questions. He'll explain.
Because they think they know what they want because they see it on the telly. They see, someone singing a song and they go, I want to do that. So all I'm saying is, change the dreams. Change the dreams.
Yeah.
Surgery. They're watching that. They're seeing Hilda happy with a better foot. The doctor's getting all the praise. They go, I want a bit of that action. That's what it's about. They don't want to be singers. They want to be known. They want to be famous.
Yeah.
So, fine, have a bit of fame, but do some good. Fix Hilda's foot.
Sorry, was that the end of the point?
Yeah, because all we've done, we've changed the dreams. Dreams are...
Well, you've hit on a good point there, because what is astounding is that when people are inundated with praise for people who are just clothes horses, they are just skinny nobodies who don't do anything except have their picture taken, and they're role models for, I'm not talking about, anyone in particular, but it's just these people who want to be seen with other celebrities and marry celebrities and be a celebrity. People think that's an easy life because they're getting rewarded for it. And yet, someone who's stuck in a laboratory trying to come up with a cure for AIDS, they don't know or care about them. And
Okay. Can I just point out, though, that if we're going to have a go at people being successful, making money, and being well known for doing nothing of any value, I point you to the man sat opposite me here.
And that's, hey, I tell you, there's times when I, lie awake at night thinking, what was my dreams?
Yeah, but
I'd love to be a little
but I've got
doctor.
a new boiler
hold on,
and 2 houses.
I'd love to be a little doctor.
Yeah, I mean, it's past me now. There's no way I can go back.
Well,
But it would have been brilliant.
you're wrong. Karl Pilkington.
Hilda!
What is it? What now, Hilda? What's up with you? I've got terrible piles. There's some sort of blockage up there. I haven't gone to the haven't gone to the toilet for a week. Well, Karl, can you unblock Hilda's arse? Now live, unblocking Hilda's arse, Karl Pilkington.
I thought she had bad feet.
No, her feet. No, Jedward fixed her feet. There's a lovely job. That's why they stayed in last week. Her arse is worse than her feet. It's because she's been off her feet for so long, because she couldn't walk. Her arse took the brunt of it, and it's just terrible. Piles have burst. It's blocked up there where all she just eats is cheese because she's so depressed.
I'd probably knock it on the head there.
Why?
I'd just say, like going back to the street thing, I've gone down the wrong avenue. I go, this isn't for me. I didn't know I'd be, eye to eye with this. It's not for me, and that's how you find out that it's not for you, by doing it.
Right.
But at least I gave it a go.
So this the same as you had one fight with Leroy, you went along to a dance studio that was shut, you've seen Hilda's arse, and it's turned you off
Once
proctology.
again, you've just abandoned it.
Yeah, well, there's
Have
no
a
point.
go! Have a go! Just feel inside Hilda's back passage. Feel the blockage. Right.
No, because the audience have already decided. They've seen a weakness in me. They're going to vote me out.
No,
There's no point me getting dirty fingers for this.
This is a bit of a bigger issue. We're always making more and more stuff, right, in the world. You know, big buildings, big planes, big boats and that. Will we ever get to a point where all this is too heavy for the world to handle?
Right, what error has he made there, Steve? What physical, scientific error has he made there with that question?
I can't begin to explain it.
Carl, we're not getting the rocks from other planets. It's already here. It's like having a big pile of books in a room and then moving them over to the other side of the room and build a thing going, oh, can the room take it? I'm building a lot of things out of these books.
What about plastic? Where's that come from?
Other chemicals that existed on the planet.
Yeah.
Do you see the point?
Hang on a minute, though. What about a little tree? You plant that as an acorn, it grows, Rick. That's bigger. That's more stuff.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him, Carl. He's patronising
What
you.
about acorns and that, though?
Right, they grow from minerals and proteins already in our atmosphere or in our, the mass of Earth.
What about a cat, Carl? Right, you get it, it's a very tiny kitten, but it grows up and it's bigger.
Carl, he's doing it on purpose.
Elephants. Baby
Elephants, they're very small to begin with, but they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and so they get heavier and heavier.
Mind you, dinosaurs have gone.
You know, but you...
We can see the speed of evolution in lower life forms like bacteria, viruses. They evolved. That's why soon we won't have an antibiotic that can kill some certain bacterial strains. And he said, and this was about 11:30, and I said I'm going to bed. Right? He said, in the future, they reckon that you'll be able to wake up and eat a yogurt you can have a chat with.
I don't know what that means.
Let's put a song on, right? And we'll come back to it.
So you're going to explain that?
Yeah.
You've got an explanation?
He said, they reckon, and I said I'm going to bed, he went, no, really, I said, no, I'm going to bed, Carl, there's no point now, because I mean, it's just like, you're talking gobbledygook, you know what I mean? I might as well talk to a pot plant.
Yeah.
He said, in the future, they reckon, I don't know who they are,
Sure.
I don't know, people who post things on the internet that he reads, I think
the Telegraph.
Anyway, complete the sentence.
they reckon that in the future you'll be able to wake up. I love it. There's always a little scenario, an embellishment, like this little. Oh, hello, darling. It's your yogurt. Hello. You'll be able to wake up and eat a yogurt you can have a chat with.
Alright, well, thanks for that, Rick. I'm looking at you. I'm going to throw that over to Carl.
Right, it's when I was away on holiday, right? I got, I don't normally buy the Telegraph, because it's too big and that, innit? So, but, they were giving it away for free on the plane, so I thought...
Ding dong.
Might as well have it. And I saw a couple of things in it, I thought that would be interesting. I saw this thing about the future, and it was talking about evolution and what have you, right, which I always find weird, because I always think that maybe we've sort of done it wrong anyway. Do you know what I mean? I sometimes think...
You can't evolve, by definition, evolution can't get things wrong. Things change, that it's not successful, it can't pass on its, genetic material or, but... If you're around, it's working. If you're around, it's working. Slugs are as evolved as they need to be. Slugs are as evolved as you and
well,
me.
that's true enough.
No, yeah. No disrespect, but it works. It works.
Sorry,
they're
but
around.
anyway, what's your point, Carl?
No, I mean, I think we probably would have been better off staying as a fish. Just because there's more water than land, isn't there?
Right.
And you wouldn't drown.
This is why I went to bed.
No, I'm thinking of dozing off now.
No, but it went... do you know what I mean? From... What was it? It was bacteria, it was fish, mermaid, man, onwards and what have you. So anyway...
Oh God!
No,
there are a few knowledge gaps in your theory of evolution.
You generally got it right, though, so
But I mean, basically, yeah, it went bacteria, fish, mermaid, man. What next is the big question.
So it was telling you all about this and what have you, and saying how, like, we shouldn't have interfered, because maybe if we wouldn't have invented planes and what have you, maybe we'd be able to fly and what have you if we really needed to and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we've interfered with evolution, you see.
Right.
But then it was saying, well, what's the future got?
Well, yes, in one way we have interfered with evolution. Yeah, the evolution of the human being in society is changing. It's no longer based on the strongest or the fittest, because medical science can keep us alive long enough. People can pass on their genetic material where without this civilization they wouldn't have been able to. So yeah, there are different parameters, there are different pressures, there are different things that say whether we're going to pass on our genetic material or not. Okay, so in that sense you're right.
And that, Rick, as far as I'm aware, has led to a yogurt that you can eat and have a conversation with. So
this is what it was saying. It was just saying, you know, we're living in mad times and that. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
One of which is...
Go on.
And the fellow was just saying, you know, with computers and stuff like that, the way it is, we'll be able to wake up,
Go on.
have a chat with your yogurt, and have something to eat.
What do you mean, have a chat with your yogurt?
Because of the amount of, I mean, you have them yogurts already, those friendly yogurts, those bacteria-friendly ones, so this is just a really friendly one.
Yeah, they don't... Oh, God! I'm my best! Do you know what, sometimes, Carl, I think that we're having a chat with a yogurt. Do you know what I mean? There can't be any difference.
Yeah, but then I'm always reminded that would be more entertaining. That would be more informative.
I said before, it's kind of what I imagine having dementia would be like, because people just come up and say stuff to you as if they know you.
Yeah.
And it's always, I always have that moment when I go, do I know them? Because they're being that familiar, do I actually know them? And I have to sort of go through my head and go, I don't know, it's just a bloke who sort of has listened to stuff over and over again and knows me. And
It's a one-way relationship.
it is, and I struggle making, like, new mates because of it, in a way. Because I always feel like I'm the one on the back foot. They know a lot about me. And I know nothing about them.
Yeah.
And it's really weird, because there's a bit of me when I go to say something, and then I think, oh, they'll think like, or they might go, oh, I've heard this, mate. Yeah, podcast season 3, episode 4.
Yeah.
And I go, well, it was just that. Sorry about that.
Just reminded me
I'll
of
try and
that.
think of something new here for you.
Yeah, some new material in life.
But like you said, it's not. It's just that's how chat is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're all sharing stories.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
Sharing stories. And there's only so many things that happen. And then the other problem is, some stories that happen in my life, they might work on a podcast, but when you're telling someone normal, they look at me like I'm a loon. So like when I'm telling you about the farty man or whatever, a lot of people would go, you know, there's a general election, though. Do you know what I mean? Why are you reading that? Or there's just things that are very me. But if I'm saying that stuff without the laughter track of Ricky picking holes out of it,
The human laughter track.
you see people sort of edging away.
Yeah.
I had a builder around, I was telling him about so I'm even nervous about telling you about it, because it isn't really a story. It was just a thing. But we've had this spider for a bit, just near the front door, house spider.
Yeah.
And every morning when I've come down, it's there and it's web. It's quite big. And then the cat comes out the garage and goes over to it and sort of taps it. It never kills stuff. It gets mice and all that, but never kills them. It brings them in.
Right.
And this spider, it's not going to kill it, just sort of taps it, and the spider runs off under the thing, and the cat sat there waiting for the spider to come out again. And that's kind of it. That's what goes on. That's the cat's life. That's its morning thing. The spider, it's like, oh, here's the cat again. I'll run over. And then the other day, the spider wasn't there. It was somewhere else, and it was walking really slowly. And I was like, it's not well. Not well, this spider. And builder come round, sort of finished something. He came in. I was going, can you just hang on a minute? He's going, there's a spider. There's a spider here just now. It's normally over there. It's happy. And I could see him looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? But I love insects and that. So I was going, oh, here it is. And it was walking really slowly. And I was going, just watch where you're walking, will you, mate? And I managed to sort of scoop it up. And do you know spiders, normally when you scoop them up, they leg it.
Yeah, they
This was walking really slow, and I was going, it's not well. So I put it in a plant pot, an empty plant pot. And then I went back later, and it was dead. It just, do you know, they get like rigor mortis. And the builder was like, have you put it in? I said, it's dead. And I think he could see that I was a bit kind of like, shit. You know, I like that. And it's sad, like the next day the cat was sat there waiting for it again.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, a lot of people, I can see your eyes drifting now, Pip. You're thinking,
It's
why is he
only
telling me
'cause
this?
the door open. No, I like it.
But no, it's just that things like that get me down. And you could say that my life must be pretty good to be worrying about house spiders just like dying. But it sort of just sums up life for me, that.
Yeah.
It's like there it was one day, next day it isn't.
Yeah.
I'm missing it, the cat's missing it, but the builder couldn't give a shit about it.
And the fact is that you got involved and tried to help. And it's
I always
do you know what I mean? That's the thing that makes it sad. It's not just you woke up and it was gone. It was like you woke up, there's something wrong here.
It was like it was using its last breath
pop it
to
here,
whatever,
maybe this'll
to
help,
go,
and it didn't.
like, I've made it through the night. I just want to say thanks for letting me be in your house. It was that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, it's stories like that I'm sort of regretting telling you. But on a podcast with Rick and Steve, they would have, like, ripped that apart.
Yeah.
And it's funny how that, to some people, will go, have you heard the spider story?
Yeah.
Have you heard him?
Yeah.
And when Ricky said, without that, they go, fuck me. Has he lost it or what? So it's kind of, that's what I'm saying about, we're sick of it, the tone of it, that he's trying to say something and I'm trying to say something, but sometimes people didn't know I was trying to say something.
Yeah.
They were just going, oh, this will be good.
Look how
Let's
silly
see
this is.
Ricky, rip his arse out for this one, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that a saying? I've heard someone say that.
Yeah, it is.
So, that all came from you saying people being overfamiliar and knowing you when they don't know me and how I struggle meeting new people because that builder's
like, why'd you care about, how do you know he's walking slow? How do you know what speed he normally walks at?
And I felt a bit kind of embarrassed, but then I was like, no, that's me. That's what I find interesting in life. And so I don't know. I don't know if anyone's learnt anything new about me here today, Pip. I don't know.
Steve?
Yes.
Carl came round to my flat. It was Tuesday night, wasn't it?
Nice place.
Now, thanks. Now, last week after the show, I think you guys were, in the time you were in the toilet, like, Carl got out the lottery ticket that he'd bought. He went, I'm feeling really confident tonight. He was going, I laughed. He went, no, seriously. He said, look at the numbers. And I looked at him and I think they were 4, 6, 8, 20, 36, 48, weren't they? He was going, I just got a feeling about those. I went, sure. He went, although, my girlfriend said that, if I won the lottery, we'd probably split up because we like such different things, meaning she likes to travel and he doesn't. And so he said, so what I said was, well, if I win, then I won't tell you. I'll just treat you a little bit more. Brilliant.
That's brilliant logic.
That is great. Anyway.
I'll look after her.
Oh, I imagine you take care of her, yeah. Yeah, you're a good guy. How would you do it then? You just sneak little gifts in, slowly over many years?
Yeah.
You don't think she'd rumble, the fact that you, don't work anymore and drive a Lamborghini?
Well, I'd still do this, I think.
What, just, as a kind of beard, as a cover story?
Yeah, just
so you'd pretend to come to work, but maybe off partying and stuff in the daytime?
Yeah.
Clever.
Now, he didn't win.
Okay.
I phoned him up Saturday night, he went, one number. One number. I think it was 8, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of 8s on my piece of paper, wasn't there? So I think it was either an 8 or an 18 or a 48.
And he went, and he was disappointed. He said, waste of time. I went, well, he said, no, waste of time. He said, I've worked it out. I went, go on. He went, there are 26 letters in the alphabet. I went, yeah. He went, think how many words you can make out of them. He went, there are 48 numbers on the lottery. I went, yeah, 60 million to 1. He went, yeah. Not worth it.
I looked into that in the week, right? And there's even less letters in the Welsh alphabet. They've only got 20, and yet they've got loads of words as well. So even 20, the chances, if there was 20 numbers and you had to pick 6 winners, it'd still be really
unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should be a mathematician. And anyway, so we got talking about it. We got talking. That was me, him, and Jane right there. And I told Jane that he said about, if you won the lottery, he doesn't like travel. And she went, why do you like travelling? And he went, well, I don't like planes. I'm really scared of planes and that. And she went, well, if you won the lottery, you could have a world cruise. And he went, no. She went, you don't fancy it? I went, no. He said, if you go on a world cruise, what do you do next year?
Carl, any thoughts on what gift you've perhaps once received that you can joke about now? What was tragic at the time? No?
No.
Not really put the thought in then?
Didn't have that many presents, so...
Always thankful for what you got.
I was grateful for.
Yeah.
Rick, would you love to hear from the listeners if maybe they've received some amusing gifts?
No.
No, I wouldn't.
So, what are you doing tonight? You going out for a little meal with your parents?
Yeah. I thought you were coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Any suggestions as to where we could go? I mean, maybe people would like to phone in, because I've got no idea. It's got to be largely meat-based. A family only really eat meat.
Do you know, the steakhouse, near me, it's closed down?
Brilliant. That's one. There's lots more to go. Let's not stop there, people. Come on.
I used to look across and think, is that a bingo hall?
I know, it's
or
bright.
Somewhere to eat? Yeah, neon. There's at the back, right at the back, had cocktails. And, you know, just imagine...
Who's in there for a cocktail?
You know, imagine you going in there with a DJ sitting there,
ladies.
Hi, be fantastic. Go on, Carl's got something to say. I can tell. What?
Is there a chance that your dad's, like, on the way into London now and has heard you say, he got me this and he got me that, and he could be, like, nipping to a shop now to buy you a rake and thought...
yeah, just think of that. Oh, that'd be terrible, wouldn't it? Or the making of the bends.
Yeah, he'll probably turn up and say, I was going to get you a gift, Steve, but then I got high. And we'll all laugh. Cultural reference. Scores of naked cyclists will be wheeling around London today in a mass protest against oil dependency. The World Naked Bike Ride will see the arresting sight of up to 200 daring riders bearing all in their cycle past some of the capital's most famous landmarks.
Have they got to wear an helmet? Are they against wearing an helmet?
Well, I think they're trying to make a statement, I would imagine. I don't know.
Well, they don't have to wear a helmet. It's not law to wear a helmet on a bike, is it? It's for your own safety. It's sensible. You're right. Yeah.
Well, it's also sensible to just pop some pants on. Pop some pants on.
Are you going to be popping down there and cheering them on?
I'm not going anywhere near it. What are they going against? What's the problem that's going on?
Oil dependency. I think, generally we're consuming too much oil, aren't we, in the world, and it's going to run out one day, and we've not got any alternatives.
Talking of campaigns and things and that, did you see Sir Bob on Jonathan Ross last night?
Sir Bob Geldof.
Sir Bob Geldof.
Yeah.
You going to walk to Edinburgh or sail to France, Carl? What do you think of all this? The G8?
I think it's good that, he's doing some stuff for the world and what have you, but I probably won't bother.
No?
Having a walk.
What do you make of all this campaigning? He's dedicated his life to this now, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I was watching him last night, and I respect the man. I mean, he used to work here, didn't he? Did some shows and that.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's alright that he can do it, but...
I assume that's not why you respect him. I assume you respect him because he's trying to save a nation, as opposed to he used to work at XFM for a while.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it's good that he's given up a lot of his time to, try and save the world and that, but, there's a bit of me that's kind of like, is he wasting his time a bit? You know what I mean?
Right, what do you mean wasting his time?
Well, he tried it before and...
No, wait. What he's trying to say is that the G8 are I think the 7 most rich, wealthy nations in the world, and Russia, and they get together and they can wipe out the third world debt. I.e. they owe us billions and billions of pounds, they can't afford to pay it back. So he's going to say, let's wipe the slate clean, and pledge, I think, a lot more aid and stuff to them, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of that?
But won't they just do it again?
Right, what's you thinking?
No,
I knew I had a little diamond in the rough here. I mean, obviously, I admit, I brought this up because I really wanted to know what Carl thought of it.
Sure.
Yeah, I had ulterior motives. It wasn't just for awareness, for the very worthy cause. It was because I know. Look at him looking at me. Look at him, he looks at me like a cat. Honestly, it's like there's nothing behind those eyes. Right, what do you mean?
They're just going to run up the debt again, you think?
Well, what I mean is, right, when I was a kid, right, and I wanted to go to the arcade, I'd borrow £1 off my mum, right, and she'd say, don't come back asking for more and what have you. But I'd have a go on a pinball machine or whatever, game on a fruity, and then go back, and she'd go, can I have some more money? And she goes, I gave you £1 before. And I go, I know, but I'm on holiday. And she goes, there you go then. And then I go off and do the same thing. I didn't go, no, I wasted the last one, I'm going to pop this in the bank.
Right.
So you think that's what's going to happen with...
That's a nice metaphor. So what do you think happening there? As the Africans are blowing it down the arcade? Instead of putting it towards a fishing rod, they're blowing it down the arcade. I'm trying to win a watch. Look, I've got 100 goals. I think this thing is dodgy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to win a fluffy toy.
Bob saying, you're never going to get the Snoopy.
You're never going to get the
It's
Snoopy.
always going to fall out of the little claw
It's
before it
rigged.
gets to
The
the top.
claw is not strong enough.
Yeah.
Do not waste the... Oh, no, Midge.
Midge, you have to write a song.
Write another song, mate. They've flown it down the arcade. Brilliant.
So that's your genuine logic, is it?
Well, I just don't know. If they put me in charge of it, I don't know what I'd do. I just think it's a.
Could I just say that will never happen?
No.
Could I just say to London?
Yeah.
And anyone listening on
Sleep
Saturday,
easy.
yeah, don't worry. Karl is not going to be put in charge of G8. It's not going to be him, Blair. Chirac.
That would be a
Brilliant.
joy if it were.
That would be amazing.
But anyway, so let's assume some alternate universe you are in charge.
What would you do?
Monkeys, obviously, it's like Planet of the Apes. What are you going to do? You're the only, only person with opposable thumbs. What's your solution?
We've done a lot of it, haven't we? We've sent, money out there. We've sent them clothes and that.
Yeah.
I
mean, have you?
It's gone.
You say we. Have you sent...
I've done loads for charity.
Go on.
Oh, loads. I've done loads of stuff.
Go on. For what?
Oh, I give stuff to Oxfam.
Yeah? What stuff you don't want anymore?
Yeah, junk, you mean?
Well, yeah, but it'll be alright for them. I mean, I said to you the other day, like, when they collect clothes for over there, I don't know, none of my stuff's gonna fit them well. But the thing is, I do loads of charities, I do loads of things like,
Go on.
I pay for tools, I do that thing, a monthly payment of a £5, paying for, toolbox and that for someone out there. I help old people, which I'm gonna stop, to be honest.
Why?
Because, do you know this thing I do, Steve, right?
No.
This is a £5 a month as well, right? I got stopped in Leicester Square one day. They said, there's a little old woman somewhere. She's cold, are you going to help her out? So I was like, oh, why me, right? So anyway, so they said it's easier if people look after one old woman, right? So
why me?
I've signed up to look after this old woman called, I don't know, call her name June or whatever, it doesn't matter. So...
It does to her, but go on.
So anyway, so I'm paying this £5 a month, and the first £5, first time I paid it, I got this thing in the post, right? And it had, thanks a lot, Karl. You're looking after June. Here she is, here's a little picture of her, and she's sat there, what have you, with a cardigan on and stuff like that. Every £5 you pay, it'll be cheering her up, and, look after her, pay for her food and what have you. So, for a bit, you feel good, don't you? And you think, well, I've done my bit for the world. Anyway, 2 months later, get another package, right? Picture of June in there again. She's got a tan. So he's saying you're paying to keep her warm. No, they meant a week in Mallorca or whatever. And this is what I mean. People if they can get away with it.
I don't know where to start.
That isn't having a go though.
What do you think? So what do you think? You think they're going? Don't bother getting a job or anything. Gout off a bit, Gout off a bit. It's June,
I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult.
So you think Sir Bob should just wash his hands of the whole affair? You think it's a complete waste of time? Is that what you're saying? That you should just leave them to it? Just leave them to it. Let them sink ever more into debt, ever more into hunger. You just think that should just carry on?
Do you know what I think he's saying? I think. Now, I'm not with words in your mouth. Are you saying they blew the last lot we gave them? They've got to learn a lesson. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
Is that what you're thinking?
No.
What are you thinking?
I'm not thinking anything like that. All I was thinking is about this gig. It might have been better to do it, like, rather than, I don't know, ruining a grass field in Edinburgh and that. Do it out in Africa, right? Get people out there, get the tourists up. Do you know what I mean? Get a load of people out there. They've got loads of...
I don't reckon he's going to get people to walk to Edinburgh. I very much doubt people are going to fly to Addis Ababa to see Coldplay.
Cheap flights and what have you.
Right.
Hot dog stands and that. Locals will love that, right? Job done.
Brilliant. Let's put him in charge.
Yeah, just for one day.
Let's put him in charge of Live Aid. If Bob Geldof is listening, I know, you respect him because he used to work on XFM.
No, but
Bob, if you're listening, please, I would love, oh my God, a conversation, Bob Geldof talking to, forget Kate Bush, forget
That would be
Helmer.
amazing.
Can Bob please call in and speak to Karl? No one call except Bob, so we know it's Bob calling. Right, get on the phone.
What's the phone number? What's the phone number?
Can't we talk to him next week?
He might be busy next week.
No,
He's
he
got
won't.
stuff to organise.
You won't. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We can talk to us next week. Right, I'm not going to go. I'll go through the phones. It's mental.
Play a record.
Right, what we're having? Bit of killers. Because I've done stuff with Ricky and Steve. People always sort of class me as some sort of comedian or something, and I'm not. I'm far from it. I'm not. In just being associated with them, they make jokes. Ricky's got his big laugh. So they go, oh, they're all funny, and I'm not. I'm just me. Do you know what I mean? And now and again, all right, I might say something funny, but so does everyone. But it don't mean you're funny. And it was always the big thing I was worried about when I was done with the travelling. I couldn't do it anymore, and Sky were like, I thought about writing something, and I was worried that it was going to be like, but they're going to want something where it's all about laughs.
Yeah.
And I'm not drawn towards that on the telly. I don't really watch that many comedies. I like stuff about life, struggles. Kes is my favourite film of all time. There's, it's not that in a comedy.
Yeah.
So there's funny bits in it with the PE scene. But I like the. I mean, did you watch the thing recently about it with Greg Davis?
No.
He did like a documentary going back, and he saw the real Billy Casper. And they've shown a clip in the middle of it of where he gets the dead bird out of the bin. Bit of a spoiler, if I welled up.
Yeah.
I was crying. And Suzanne was there, my girlfriend, and she doesn't see me cry that much.
Yeah.
And so she was laughing because she cries at happiness. Like on Strictly when someone's going, oh, and that dance was for me gran, and she's here tonight. Oh, shut up. Yeah. And the crowd's going, oh, she's welling up at that. Whereas I'm like, oh, playing that card, playing the card to get the vote.
If you want to get me, pull a dead bird out
exactly,
of it.
yeah. But honestly, with that Kes, even though I haven't watched the whole film there, and it was just that clip, it took me right back to the film. And I, honest to God, big lump in my throat. And to me, getting that sort of reaction is loads better than a laugh.
Yeah.
I know you've got to have a laugh, but for me, I just think that's more important to tap into the stresses of the world, the thing that get you down. And it's weird because some people who enjoyed like the travel stuff watched Sick of It 1 and they were a bit like, oh, it's, not that funny, is it? And it's like, no, it isn't. It isn't. You're absolutely right, it isn't. And a lot of Idiot Abroad and that, if you took out some of the activities and just had my talking head, it's not that funny.
Yeah.
It's me going on with issues and what I see of things and what I think. And it was just those images of me dancing with a tribe that made a lot of people go, oh, look, he's dancing with a tribe, look. Oh, look at him, look, you can see his bollocks there, look. And that was, for some people, that's funny.
Yeah.
That, for me, was there as a bit of colour and showing a tribe in some jungle. So, some people, it was easier to understand.
Yeah. Is this the book that you nearly finished reading, but you realised all the pages were in the wrong order?
No.
He bought a cheap book, right, at a second shop, started reading it, loving it, then he started reading about this bloke, and he went from jail to school, and then he looked at the page numbers and they were all out of order.
How annoying is that?
You never read books, do you?
I never read one, right? And Suzanne, it was a weekend when we were going to Hastings because you two had done me head in, right? She said, I'm going to take you away so you relax and what have you. So, ended up not relaxing because it was like putting a jigsaw together. I'd started reading it on the train, thinking, loving this. It's a really interesting story about this fella who, didn't have a great life as a kid, starts getting into a bit of crime, what have you, turns out to be the governor. But it wasn't as easy as that, because like you say, it was, started off at school, then he was in prison, and he's like, oh God, he started young. And then, next thing, he's like married, and he's like, hang on. He's like 12, and then he's had a heart attack, and then but I just thought it was part of the thing because I read chapter 1, and then it did say chapter 12, but I thought, right, it's like that sort of done in that stylish way that everyone's doing.
What kind of a biography?
Love that it went
starts messing with the medium.
I was born in the East End. Take one onion, add some.
This is the idea that an East End villain's going to write his autobiography, but think, I'm just going to play with the form a bit. I'm going to get quite postmodern with this.
No, but
he's barely able to write, probably.
Yeah,
well, you can say that about him, Steve. I wouldn't. I think he's an educated man. Go on, next, Carl.
But yeah, just because it was like 2 for a tenner, that shouldn't be like
Oh well, you know you got a good offer. So
No, that's rare.
It is,
I'm
yeah.
sure the bloke selling it did not know that the pages were out of order. Let's face it, Carl. You read it and didn't realise.
Yeah.
So you
I
can't
love
really
the fact
blame
that
him.
you got almost half the way through before you realised.
I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know.
Still, that'll teach you, and that's put you off books for life, hasn't it?
Well, I don't like getting into books now. I just read snippets of information.
Play record. Play record.
No, I was just going to tell you about a bit of information that I was reading.
Okay.
And I can't. Will we play a
No,
record
I've got
first?
time for a bit of drivel before we play next tune.
Well, I'd rather hear a tune and come back for drivel, because I think people are tuning in for drivel, so let's tease them.
Okay.
Let's have a record, then some absolute shite from Karl Pilkington. Alright, Carl, what did you learn?
Right, like I say, I don't like reading books. There's too much to take
Words.
in. And
Too
stuff. I
much
haven't got
word.
time, I'm busy and that.
Yeah. I don't like reading books, actually, but go on.
So,
But I have done. So, go on.
Right, so I was looking in this magazine, right, and it was more about. Do you know, I'm not that impressed with Einstein and Newton and that lot.
No, why should you be? What have they ever done? Go on.
No, but you know the fact. You see, the Columbus thing. He's another one, isn't he? Who got a bit of praise for finding America.
Yeah.
And it's like someone else would have come across that at some point,
Yeah.
right? And yet, news this week, they've found 2 new types of frog, right? No one's making a fuss, and look how small they are compared to what he bumped into. And that's what I'm saying. People make a big deal out of all these people who are finding stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the next person.
I mean, my head's buzzing, but I can't be bothered. I actually can't be bothered. Don't think this reaction's a good reaction. I don't know where to start with this drivel, but carry on.
Right. So anyway, the next fella who.
The next fella? See, I don't know. You talk in riddles.
The next fella I'm going to talk about,
Go on, then.
Einstein.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone raves about him all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm trying to get into my head.
Yeah.
Like why is amazing and that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So did a bit of reading up on him in this science magazine.
Yeah.
Right. Now I read it. It's only I don't know 200 words, whatever, trying to get across what he worked out. But I read it last night.
Is
I
it
was
relativity you're talking about?
Like, yeah.
Well, to say yeah, like I just made that word up.
Yeah.
You heard
that, yeah.
That was
that's
his
what it
big-
was, yeah,
Okay, so the 200 words, as far as you recall.
So anyway, so I read it and I was like, I don't know what is going on about here, right? So Suzanne was with me. I said, "Can you read this?" She said, "I'm watching Sex and the City." Right? I said, "Right, but can you read it and explain to me what I don't understand here?" She says, "Well, I don't understand it."
It's great. It's like she's thinking, I haven't got kids,
Yeah.
and yet he still wants me to help him with his homework, and I'm watching telly.
Yeah.
I've been at work all
So
day.
she said, "Look, go in the bedroom, read it out loud to yourself. Maybe it make more sense if you read it out loud." Right?
Yeah.
So I said, "Right, I'll go and do that then." And it was good because it's cool in there anyway, right? So I went in there. So reading it out twice. Went back and I said, "I don't get it still." Right? So she said, "Right, wait 10 minutes and I'll sort it out." So I was sat there looking at it, trying to work it out before she had to look at it. I was like, "No, forget this." Now, what he was saying is,
Yeah.
if you send a man to the moon,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
he was saying to the fella in the rocket,
Yeah.
it would seem like 20 years to him.
Yeah. Not the moon, but yeah.
No, it was. That's what it said. It said the moon.
Well, it wouldn't because it's only about.
No, but listen. So it took 20 years to the fella, yet people who are on the Earth, it would seem like 2,000.
Yeah, because time is relative, not.
I don't. What do you mean?
Right.
Well, listen. The fact is that it's tending towards the speed of light, where it really makes a difference. They've even done it with atomic clocks, where they've sent one up, even in Concorde, and it's like 0.01 of a second difference.
What is the watch?
Yes. Yeah, because greater speeds.
But why does speed affect how a watch works?
Right, I don't think this is a conversation.
Because, look, speed is.
Sorry,
See
stop.
what I mean, though?
Just
See
stop
what
for
I
a
mean,
moment.
Steve?
Right.
See what I've done?
I don't think this is a conversation to be had on a Saturday afternoon on a
No,
radio show.
but I'm just saying though. It's not me, is it?
It is you.
You went quiet, Steve.
No, because
you're having problems.
Because
there.
I'm not going to be able to explain it to you.
I will explain
in
to
a
you
light,
the break.
frothy way.
It's speed equals basically velocity equals distance over time. When velocity doesn't change and nor does distance, time has to. That's his theory. Yeah.
Well, we just got
What's your point,
Rockbusters
then,
again.
Carl? What's your point?
I'm just saying.
Because you don't understand it, it's worthless.
I was trying to explain to Newton that basically formulated, the laws of the universe, the 3 laws of the universe. Even playing snooker, I'm trying to drop something. I was going, well, equal and opposite reaction and all these sort of stuff, right? And he was going, what did he do apart from the apple on his head with the gravity? And I went, well, what do you mean? And he went, well, why was it a problem? If we had been floating round, I'd have called him in. But since we're not, we don't need him. Yeah. That's what he said. Play a record. You're a buffoon.
From the moment I got onto radio, it's all been like, how did that happen? And the weird thing is, if you'd have said to me when I was a kid, like, this is what's going to happen, I would have been like, you are joking me, aren't you? I don't want to do that. The idea of it terrifies me. So it does amaze me when I think of keeping myself to myself, then suddenly it's like you're fronting a TV programme or whatever, or you've got to sit in front of a crowd at a screening and talk about what you're doing. It's mental, because it's just not me. But there's a little bit of me that wishes, I sort of go, I wonder if life would have been pretty good if all this didn't happen. I wonder if I'd sort of be a bit happier inside.
There's huge pressure in this industry.
I don't even want to be like sounding like that, like, oh, there's pressure in this, it's hard work, this. Because it isn't compared to a lot of jobs. But it's just that you lose a little bit of normality. When you go somewhere, the other day I was in Wickes just buying some salt softener for the water softener thing. There was a lot of kerfuffle. And it's just like, look, I'm just normal. I'm just in there buying this. I'm just buying water softener stuff. It's no big deal. And that, I don't like it. You can't be moody with people because it's part of the gig. But that's the bit when I go, when's this going to go away? It's weirder because I think if I was Tom Cruise, I don't think that would happen. I think people would be like, it's Tom Cruise. But nobody would probably go over. They'd go, Tom, you can't go over. It's Tom Cruise. Leave him. Whereas, it's just Karl buying some water softener.
Really feel because the characters you play that
He'll love it. Well, it's
relatable, and it's...
You go, I know what he's like, and even if he tells me to sod off or whatever, it's be funny, Karl told me so. But there is times when it's just like, I don't know what you want from me. Do you know what I mean?
So really, if younger Karl was doing this now, the kind of narrative that your life has gone in would have been the plot twist version of the unexpected versus the expected.
So are you, like a sliding doors? Maybe I'd see myself. I'd be on that train being hassled and I see me in that other world looking quite relaxed and looking over and nodding my head at myself. Like, you shouldn't have done it.
Could have gone one of two ways, and this is the way that it went.
And he's just sat there quietly reading a book, quite happy with his coffee and a donut, and I'm sort of being mobbed or whatever. But, I don't know. You can't... It is what it is. You can't moan about any of it, can you? And it's just that you always want everything, and you can't have it all, can you? There's a lesson.
One prediction for the future, Karl, is from an academic study, what the world will be like in about 75 years from now. And a big prediction they're sort of sure of is that androgyny will rule. There'll be so little difference between men and women, apart from the biology, economically, socially. It won't matter who the biggest breadwinner is, that's already being phased out. If you're in a traditional heterosexual male-female couple, it'll be who stays home, who earns the most or whatever. It won't be governed by gender. And that's getting less and less anyway, as it is now. But soon you won't even need a female or a man in your life. You'll just need the egg or sperm. And you'll be able to have any coupling you want or not. Thoughts, Karl?
That isn't what I've heard.
What were you heard?
I heard that.
So you read an academic study, Rick, but let's find out what Karl's been reading.
I heard we're all going to go ugly.
Different point, though, isn't it?
That's a completely different point. That not listening to a word Ricky said.
No, it's just if we all sort of go ugly, that will sort the population problem out.
He gets an extra syllable in the word ugly. 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 Ugly.
Yeah. So that just sorts the population out because people aren't sort of having it away left, right and centre.
Well, no, then that doesn't sort. What do you mean?
Sorry, Rick, I don't understand what the hell he said there.
Are you saying because everyone's ugly, everyone won't want to have it away more with the ugly person?
Yeah.
Okay, I still don't. You seem to understand what he's talking about, Rick. I'm still confused.
But what he thinks is that if we're all ugly, then we still have this strange paradigm of beauty that won't exist, so we won't fancy anyone as much.
No, they'll still sort of fancy, because at the end of the day, we're animals, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we'll still have it away, but not as much as they'd like to do now, because it's all based on looks.
Sorry, but what's this got to do with what
What's this world like? Describe a typical town or country
It's exactly right. Imagine London, you've still got the gherkin, you've still got the big wheel. It's just everyone's ugly.
Right, and they're doing all the same jobs, are they?
Everyone's still, the world's got to carry on.
What do they look like? What's ugly?
Just imagine, like, haven't you ever seen anyone when you've just gone, look at that?
Yeah.
Right, well, like that.
Yeah, but hold on. It's ugly by today's standards, is it? So I throw forward to 75 years, you'll go, oh, everyone's what we call ugly. But what's happened to society? What do they think of everyone? They won't suddenly go in, oh, isn't it annoying? We've got uglier. Because it's not like
because we have got better looking, haven't we? If I look back now at a school photo, you look at my class and you go, what was going on then? You can't tell the difference between some of the girls and the blokes.
No, but that's not true. Because
it is, honestly. You look at it and you see
nutrition. And I see that, when I see an old episode of Bullseye, I think, Jesus, the men look like rakes with no teeth and a moustache, and they're bald with their hair down like a paedophile, and he goes, now how old are you? And I go, 52. 50 goes, I'm 22. He's what?
Yeah, but that's more because of the sort of people that used to go on Bullseye. I mean, Paul Newman was never going to pop on Bullseye.
No, exactly.
Because he was actually a plumber from, Essex.
And then think of the people that he grew up with, some of them live in holes now.
Yeah.
So, I don't think the class of Pilkey 1982 doesn't really count. When he said, we've got better looking, I thought he was going to talk about cavemen, not his school photo. I mean, what happened there? There's been no evolution in that time. What are you talking about, Karl?
We've got better looking now, haven't we?
I wonder if he's confused it with the paradigms of beauty have changed, haven't they? So in the 50s, Marilyn Monroe was considered, very desirable, whereas that body shape on women, more recently has become less, there's lots of skinny women are seen as a paradigm of beauty. But, so that has maybe changed.
But we will change.
Yeah, we'll change. There's little things.
Years.
I mentioned before about, your little finger. There'll come a time when that'll go. I've watched it. I've kept an eye on what my little finger's doing. Sometimes it does nothing. It never helps out. All the others are grabbing older stuff. That one just sort of sits there watching. So you could get rid of that, and I think that will go in evolution.
Think of the books he could have read when he was doing that, when he was monitoring his little finger.
I've been watching my little finger. But again, it's what you mean. Like 75 years is nothing. The only thing that changes in 75 years is trend, fashion, economics. The gene pool doesn't change unless there's been some sort of really weird mutation due to an external force. That I don't know. For things of science fiction where we all accidentally drank plutonium and got 3 eyes and 1 leg. It doesn't happen that fast. I've told you before, if you shaved a caveman, he's basically us. He's basically us.
Well, he's basically Karl.
Yeah. But... the little finger will be, let me tell you, millions of years.
I think what's more interesting about the future, Karl, is the fact that technology integrated with humans will be fascinating. So, for instance, they're talking, about the fact that in the future we may even be able to have chips in our head that allow us to access the internet, or an equivalent of it, directly, mentally.
Not French fries.
Hang on though, at what point are we us then?
Yeah, this is good.
Go on.
No, because if I can go on the internet at any time, then that's going to know more than me.
What does that mean?
Okay.
When I don't know an answer to something now, which is a lot of stuff.
Really?
Go on.
You watch University Challenge, and the stuff them kids on that know. I was just thinking, where have they stored that? Where's that gone in their head? How have they left that somewhere, and it's just sat there waiting to be used? For me, if something doesn't get used within a time period, that's it.
But again,
it's forgotten about.
Okay, that's application and training and all that.
I think
But basically, you've got about the same hardware
I haven't,
as those people.
Honest to God, I haven't. I know I haven't.
Your brain capacity is
It's not the same as theirs. It's not the same.
Well, you might not be what's considered as academically intelligent as them, but again, an awful lot of it is, nurture more than nature. Your brain's good. Your brain is up there. Don't worry about that.
Well, it isn't. But listen, so what I'm saying is, if I want to know the answer to something, I go on the internet.
Yeah, right.
Now, if I've got a chip in my head with Google on it, I'm never going to use my head. I'll just be forever on Google.
I'm never going to use my head!
Well, I'm not, because what's the point?
Your head is, though?
Because I'm going to get it wrong. The chances are I'll get it wrong, so divert that. It's like saying...
No, you can't bypass the brain straight to Google. When you're having a chat socially, it's not like they're going, all right, Carl, how are you? And you're not there. You're asleep and Google's talking. I think you'll find that they're...
No, only
do you want to see naked ladies?
No, only for questions, though, that I don't know. But what I'm saying is, because I don't know a lot of the answers, I'll just say, forget it, leave it connected to Google. So then I'm not me anymore.
Well, what are you doing? Where's you gone?
I'm looking at Google.
So it is you.
No, but what Steve just said is, we'll have a chip in our head.
Right.
That can access the internet.
Right.
So why bother using
But you're
my own
still
knowledge?
the go-between. You, Carl, are the go-between between the internet and whatever your mouth
You can't
says.
beat the internet.
Yes,
You
but
can't,
you're
it knows everything.
No, you're accessing the information like it was part of your brain capacity. But you're still processing and using that information.
But hold on, where does Google get the information from in the first place?
Someone on one of them bright people on University Challenge has put it on.
Yeah, a human being.
So, but I'm going to get lazier. I don't watch University Challenge and go, I want to be like them, I'm going to start reading books. I've accepted I'm never going to be like them. I can't play along. All I tend to do is I say to Suzanne, right, so every question now, I'm going to have egg as the answer. And I'm hoping that one day...
What an amazing game! What an amazing intellectual pursuit that is!
What a lucky lady.
What does Suzanne say to that?
Well, she just sees if it works. She just plays along, and then I'm saying, oh, it might be this one or whatever.
I love that, because I remember once, it was about 5 years ago, Carl and Suzanne were round near Christmas, and me and Jane were there. We were playing different parlour games, like charades and that. And then one game, you have to do that thing where you have to beat, and you have to do animals, and you have to go, first one is A, then B. So you say aardvark, next one goes beaver, next one goes cat. It came to Carl, he panicked, and he went egg.
And he was on egg. So you're sat there watching University Challenge, and on a good night, it's, well-known jeweller Fabergé's, well-known for his jewel-encrusted egg. Humpty Dumpty is commonly pictured as a living egg. Sometimes it's getting extraordinary.
If you keep saying the same thing, eventually, it's like a broken watch.
Carl Pilkington's head looks like hay.
Yeah.
I've just got more chance of getting it right.
Sure.
But also, he told me when he plays University Challenge, he said he's given up ever trying to get an answer. So now he tries to guess who's going to answer the question. Another great game. Suzanne's roped on. Unbelievable. How'd you do with that?
That's not...
I'm normally alright on that.
Normally alright.
There's got to be something else.
There's another evolution thing though. When you watch brainy people on that, or wearing glasses.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? We are reading too much. We're wearing the eyes out. And that you can't argue with that. Because the evidence is there.
Can.
Most people on University Challenge, which is a quiz show if people don't have that in the country, it's the brainiest quiz of all time, and to be honest, I don't know why they don't go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something, because they'll get a better prize than what do they win on University Challenge?
Because they'll be stitched up by a question of who's in Hollyoaks. It will be the
But that's the snobbery as well.
It'll be what character does Andy Lincoln play in this life, and they won't get it, and you'll go egg, and you'll be correct.
But that's the thing, isn't it? This snobbery on like braininess. The way that if you're a specialist in I don't know what something.
Well, no, don't help him. Go on, finish. You've started a conversation. You're halfway through a sentence. You've got a point.
You can't bail out now.
Okay.
Say if you're a specialist in
go on.
Latin tattoos.
Latin tattoos!
Don't know what that is.
What Latin tattoos? I didn't know you wanted something so specific.
So that's a tattoo you have on your arm with Cogito Ergo Sum underneath, or is it a
Just
tattoo?
any sort. Well, it's the only reason Latin's still alive, isn't it?
Right.
Tattooists. So you go on Mastermind.
Yeah.
And people will go, oh, he's clever, isn't he? You got 40 correct in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, if you go on and say any questions about Coronation Street between 1990 and 92, people go, "Oh, he's a bit of a knob," because there's a snobbery to education.
Yes. There is.
But a question is still a question, isn't it?
Well, to a certain degree, although, yeah, that's fine. But there's no application to knowing who played Ena Sharples, whereas presumably there is something useful in
well, not perhaps Latin tattoos, because
No, not Latin
none of us
tattoos,
understand exactly what
no.
that is. But if you have knowledge of astrophysics, obviously that's going to be, as Ricky says, it's going to take more application to become an expert on that than watching Coronation Street twice a week.
But it's still information that you've had to learn.
You've not learned it, have you? You've just sat down in front of the telly and it's just piped into your brain very directly and very easily and enjoyably. Let's say the people working on that microchip that one day you'll have in your brain, are they not doing something more interesting and valuable for society than the Coronation Street fella?
No, because Coronation Street that fella who knows a lot about it. He's enjoying his time watching that.
Oh, well, I'm saying he's not enjoying it.
So he's enjoying it, but a brain in a jar can be enjoying it if it doesn't know it's a brain in a jar.
Right. So what you asking me?
But we were talking.
Didn't seem a difficult point what we were saying.
What I mean is...
Okay, one more go. What do you mean?
The chip in the brain isn't part of filling your head with stuff, the journey of filling it with that stuff.
What do you mean?
Whereas say if you had a baby, the baby pops out, it cries a bit, they go, right, what do you want your baby to be interested in? And you say, I want it to be a plumber. You go, right, when it's 2, we're going to stick a plumber chip in its head.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not right, is it?
No. I don't know why you chose plumber either.
Well, we still need plumbing.
Yeah, I know we do, but...
It's odd that they would have chosen plumber. They've got such kind of small ambitions for their
It's what his
babies.
granddad did, and they want the sort of the thing to go through the business. They own a plumbing business. They want the baby to carry on the business of the plumbing.
They want the baby to be able to plumb.
It goes on now where parents force the kids into riding horses, and you see the kid without the parents about, and you go, "Do you like horses?" And they go, "No, not really. We've been forced to get on a horse. Can't stand them."
Yeah.
And people would go, "That's wrong. The kid should have the freedom to decide if he wants to get on a horse or not."
That's right. Yeah.
Well, what about this chip in the head?
But you've made this up.
You've made the scenario up.
They're not putting chips in babies' heads.
I thought you said they were.
No,
When did I say that?
I said that.
I think Steve's right, and I don't know, I haven't read it, but I imagine he's saying it's the next step in convenience with technology and an interface between a human and a research tool or fun. Computers went from being the size of a room to a thing you can wear on your watch. So the next step may be, you won't forget your Palm Top, you won't forget your iPod, you won't forget your laptop. It's in there, it's an interface.
I know, but it makes us lazy.
But you straight away thought that now that it went to some sort of weird laboratory where it's all white and there's just a doctor and everyone's in a silver suit, right? And they go, "We're removing the self. We're removing the self and putting in chip. You are now computer boy."
Yeah,
but I want to watch Coronation Street. Well, you won't in a few seconds. But I hate Coronation Street, me.
Carl, it's not a question of. It's not that Google is now Carl. It looks like Carl, but it's just spouting, little pop-ups about offers you can buy and cheap holidays here and there.
He's not the man I married.
Right, look at it like this.
Jesus.
Look, I see it all the time now.
Go on.
You go, "Where are you going?" to someone, and they go, "I'm going to Dorset."
Aye.
All right, what road are you taking? Don't know, just pop on the sat-nav. Now, that's a start, isn't it?
Okay. Let's act that out with me, okay? I'm going away for the weekend, Carl.
Are you?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Dorset.
Oh, yeah. How are you getting there?
Car.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, which way are you going?
Don't know. Why do you want to know?
Well, just making a friendly chat. I'm interested in geography. Which way are you going?
Well, I don't know really. I've got a sat nav in my car, and I'm getting there. And what do you want? What?
Bit lazy, isn't it?
Well, I'm not a pigeon. I don't.
Have you got an A to Z?
Well, yeah, but it was on a computer, the A to Z. What's the difference between looking at an A to Z and...
It's a bit lazy, though.
Not really, no. Why? Why is it any different that I've got it computerised so I can go along? The A to Z's a bit dangerous, isn't it? It's a bit... Don't go to A to Z when you're driving along.
Clive, who are you talking to? Because we need to hit the road, we need to get going.
What is this, this fucking idiot who wants to know what road I'm taking, which is a fucking boring thing to ask anyway.
Sorry, who is this twat? Because we really got to get going.
He's a fucking dickhead. I think he's an A to Z salesman by the I mean,
just tell him we're using the sat nav because it's the quickest, most efficient way of doing it.
It's the quickest, most efficient way of doing it.
No, but look what's happened.
Who the fuck are you?
Would Columbus found America if he had a sat nav?
Yes!
No, he wouldn't.
He didn't put in America and he would have taken it to America.
He only found it because he got lost. Now, if everybody just
Hold on. How would an undiscovered country be on a sat-nav?
No.
Go on.
But I just
What's the difference between the sat-nav and the map in that regard?
Because I've found some lovely little cafes on roads I've never been on.
Gone from finding a continent to a little cafe.
I love that.
Little greasy
I am off to discover the unknown world. Where are you going? Well, I don't know yet. It's the unknown world. What are you taking? Just a boat like all lazy swim, you cunt. I love the fact that he's so Luddite now, he's annoyed at the sat-nav. I mean, you'd have probably given Columbus a hard time. Oh, got a compass. Don't you know where north is, you twat?
I just think there's something in being lost. I never feel lost. I just think, I've had a diversion. Because you find new things. I'm forever going down...
Suzanne's asking the French peasant where
I just think, Columbus...
Alright, what's the most interesting thing you found when lost?
Like I say, I found a shop that was like a fancy dress shop.
Amazing.
Do you need fancy dress stuff?
Dressed
You
up
never
as
got
Columbus and went and bought a sat-nav. Went to Dorset for the weekend.
You never go out. Why do you need a fancy dress shop? That sounds like the one thing you would hate is fancy dress.
Yeah, but I like looking at they have like a space helmet in there.
Right, so you found a fancy dress shop. Where were you supposed to be going that you had time to get sidetracked and go in
I think I was going to a meeting.
Amazing, that's the last time!
You don't want to get lost!
You don't want to get lost, do you?
Because I always give myself loads of time because I get lost a lot. I always give myself...
Get a sat-nav!
No, I'm just saying, that's how you find little treats along the way, and next time you pass it, or next time someone says, do you know where the fancy dress shop is? You can go, yeah, I do.
I have no idea because I was lost, I didn't know where it was.
No, normally
I'm not going to tell you, lazy cunt. Haven't you got an AZ? Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, find it yourself, you lazy twat.
Well, I might get lost. Good. You might find another one.
It just goes back to the chip thing in the head. I think you've got to learn along the way. We can't get lazy. We can't have chips in the head, knowing how to plumb. That's what it's all about, isn't it? And making mistakes. If you make a mistake, I've done some wiring, got a little shock. Won't happen again.
It will. I've seen that experiment with you before.
Right, so, you've heard what problems I had that day.
Go on then.
Bubbled wallpaper. What a mess. Washer dry and knackered. What a mess. Siamese twins separated. One leg less.
I don't know what rhyming scheme that is again. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, fuck me.
Okay, man. Anything you can remember from school that you learned that you had to maybe memorise?
French.
Not necessarily French. You could
Anything you can remember. This can be anything you remember from school, apart from the orange stuff stops cancer.
Yeah.
It's not the cough that carries you off; it's the coughing that carry you off in.
What about Darren Buckley?
He was one of my best mates.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What do you reckon he's doing now? Do you still keep in touch?
When my mum and dad were still in Manchester and they had a bookie shop, he used to go in because the bookies was next door.
I know the way you paint a picture.
He used to,
if you did this in your history exam, Carl, you will walk it.
Go on. So your parents had a butty shop. There was a bookies next door.
Yeah, and he liked having a bit of a gamble, so he used to. I think he works for some insurance company.
Do you think that his fiancée Beth knows he's got a gambling problem? Or that his 2-year-old son Lewis?
No.
Yeah, they live in Cheadle Holme.
Hume.
Cheadle Hume.
He must be doing well.
He's still supporting the Blue Army and frequents the shrine on a fortnightly basis.
Funny thing with him is, right, when I used to stay over at his house, and his dad was a copper, and I remember his dad came down and said, right, I want to see you two. I was like, oh God, what's happened? and got us round the table. He said, "Do you know much about drugs?" So we were like, "What's all this about?" So he goes, "You know, they're not good for anyone. You know, the stupid thing to get into." And we're like, "Yeah, we know." And he went, "You know, do you?" We said, "Yeah." He said, "What's this then?" And he'd found something in his bedroom, and it was a Skittle.
What, the sweet?
Do you know little sweets with the S on it? And
Oh, really?
Drugs.
Yeah.
So he said, "Well, yeah, it's a Skittle." "Yeah, I know what it is." He said,
Oh, he was bluffing like that as a slang word.
Yeah, he thought because he was a copper, he probably had to be down with all the terms and that. So we said, "Oh, it's a Skittle," and he said, "Yeah, I know what it is, but what's it doing in your bedroom?"
Oh.
And it was like, "No, it's a toffee." So, Darren,
yeah, I know it's a toffee. It's a squib. It's a yeah.
Karl, more people from your past. Debbie Carr.
Yeah, she was another nice one.
What does that mean? Is that a euphemism?
No, she was one of them that you'd sort of go, she's nice, but she'd never be your girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? She was,
not really.
Even though she was in the same year, she seemed a lot older.
Right.
And
Like, wasn't a teacher, was it?
There was 3 of them who all hung together, and they seemed to hang around like the older kids, the ones who looked like men. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What did you look like then?
Well, it's just that I had youthful sort of looks, whereas like the older ones had like beards and stuff.
It's the gang of boys in the 5th form with beards. Were they smoking pipes? Going, come over here, me filly. Oi, Debbie Carr, come over here, you little beauty.
No, but she was like...
I love that. Hanging around with beards. There's the big boys. What a fishing. Lovely beards.
I just see a whole row of George Bernard Shaws. Brilliant.
How do you do in history, boy?
Yeah.
Think got an E. You're an idiot.
They were like, you know, I'd be there sort of punching people in the arm.
That's a great game.
Oh, I love that, punch people in the arm.
Is that part of the Olympics now?
it's I think it was exhibition this year.
Right.
But it's
going to be pro next
it's going to be the Winter Olympics because you've got to do it in just a cap sleeve shirt in winter. Yeah.
So you're also playing that?
She, but whilst
But she didn't appreciate that. She used to go, ow!
No, I always think whilst I was doing that, they were like the Charlie's Angels and they'd be sorting out a mission somewhere. Because they were really like, there was something about them that you thought, you know, they're special.
They were private detectives.
What if they work for a man they never see?
Well, I told you that time when it happened to me when I was younger.
Go on.
Your life flashed before your eyes?
Well, it wasn't like a flashback, but it was close. It's the next thing next to flashbacks. It was, I was having a bath, right? And my mum had like run the bath and that, and she said, "Is that too warm?" And I said something like, "No, it's all right. It's a lot better than when I used to have a bath in that wooden bath in front of the fire."
Okay.
And she was like, "What?" And I said, "You know, it happened years ago." And she was a bit like, "Oh." And I can't remember that now, but she talks about it, and you know, that just goes to show that, because I was at an age when I wouldn't have known about wooden baths years ago in front of fires.
No, but you talk rubbish now. So all you were talking rubbish from an early age. Where's the problem?
No, but you can only talk rubbish if you're aware of knowledge.
Well,
I didn't know about wooden baths, so why would I have invented
But Karl,
that?
we've only got your mother's word on this, and she thought you might one day be a doctor.
Yeah.
So
she put a rock with a feather on it to keep a parrot company.
Lest we forget.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's all bollocks.
So have you researched this? You've tried to find out when little Karl Mark I and his wooden bath, when he was
No,
around?
I don't want to go there, because that's when you start digging out all sorts of trouble,
rubbish. It's rubbish.
No, it's not rubbish.
Well, it is rubbish.
What sort of stuff might
There's
you
no
discover?
scientific evidence.
No, just like I've said about family trees and that, don't be looking at them, because you're only going to find stuff you don't really want to know about. It's the same as that, innit? Leave it, let it be. Do you know what I mean? If your granddad was Einstein, you'd know about it because your family would be shouting about it. If he was a bad un, you go, "Oh, keep that quiet." So don't look at family trees, and it's the same. Don't be looking back in your past lives, because
no
God knows
past
what you've been up to. Well,
Karl and the wooden bath. Proof. If
Karl
proof we needed.
Pilkington, live on air, talking shit again.
You know, the money thing was always there from a young age, making money, because you need money in life so you don't have to rely on others.
Even the boy on the estate knew, I've got to.
Because of that estate, it was seeing the people on that estate. There's a bloke who lived a couple of houses down called Casey, and I just saw his life just go to shit in what seemed like 3 weeks to me, but it was probably a year, 2 years, and he just didn't have any go in him. It was like And to be honest, a lot of old school mates and stuff have gone down that route of life's hard, innit? I've just got a job I hate, but then it's all right. It's the weekend. I'm going to get leathered, and get themselves into all sorts of mess. And you just, I knew I didn't want that.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm in it. I can see what's going on, and I definitely don't want this. So it was all like earn money. And yeah, you're right. A few years ago, I paid off the mortgage, and was like, well, that's it. That's all I've been working for, really, to do that. And I think I did 6 or 7 months of nothing.
What were you doing?
Pottering about. The things I enjoy doing now, but in between work, it was the bit of gardening, cleaning. I love cleaning.
Movies?
Yeah, gardening, cleaning. Yeah, I'd watch films, walks. But it's the stuff that you enjoy because sometimes you don't have time to do it. When that's all you've got, it's not a novelty anymore.
Sure.
It's like when you see people on that programme, Place in the Sun. They went to Benidorm once for a week. It was a brilliant holiday, so we're going to live there. It's like, it won't be the same.
No.
It's not a holiday.
No.
You're living there.
Within 6 months, you'd be like, God, I miss...
Yeah, of course. There's always... I mean, I don't think there's the perfect life anywhere. There's always a compromise, I think. But it was that thing of, I can't do it. I was driving Suzanne up the wall, just messing about with things that didn't need messing with. And she was just like, you got to go back to work.
What is your favourite word?
I don't think I've got a favourite, because you only use them when you need to, don't you? I don't just go about saying the same word. So,
well, alright.
Yeah, it's not my favourite, it's just that it does the job. It does the necessary job for that time, doesn't it? It's like, how are you? I'm alright. It's a greeting.
What about, I think serendipity was voted England's favourite word.
Never used it.
No, stupid word.
Who decided that?
Don't know, it was a poll, but I will suggest things. I can't believe people coming up going, favourite word, serendipity.
Thanks for asking.
So, but the thing is, say if it meant, I'm fed up, would it still be the best word? Is it based on how it sounds and how it's put together, or what it means?
I think everything.
But then loads of words are being left out on, which are probably brilliant words, and they're not getting a look in.
Such as?
Well, like that one, fed up. I'm fed up. It sums it up, doesn't it? Well, two, it just sums it up. When someone goes, how are you? You go, I'm fed up, mate. Sick of it. It's another good one.
Oh, we're getting somewhere. Come on, some of your other favourites, right?
I've had enough. It's just all stuff.
These aren't words, they're phrases.
They're all negative, they're all whinging.
These aren't words. What's your favourite thing? My favourite thing to do is moan.
Yeah.
That would be well, it's not one word, it's loads of words. Fed up, sick of it. That's enough. Jeez.
Whinge should be your favourite word.
Yeah. Whinge is a good word. I like NGEs. Lozenge, whinge, flange.
Yeah. What is your least favourite word?
It might be serendipity. That would be up there for me. I tell you what, that would be up there for me.
Probably like French words that have made it into the English thing.
Blancmange.
Just.
There's an unge there. So,
How could you dislike it?
How could you dislike blancmange?
But just, as if we haven't got enough words in our books.
Go on.
Because I was thinking about,
Go on.
Alphabet, right? Why have we got that many? When other countries get by without that many letters in it.
We got more words than any other language as well.
But that's because we got more letters.
Well, I don't know.
So we've created a headache. I reckon you could at least half it.
Well, you probably could half it.
Well, you only use about half a dozen of them.
No, but stuff like an X, you look at words that have got X in, and they're always words that you go, what does that mean? How's someone come up with that? That's how it comes across to me, and there's loads of big words. It's like dinosaur names. It's like, well, look, nobody was about when they were knocking about, so let's make up some names for them using the letters that hardly get used. They've all got Y's and X's in them.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, let's use it for that.
Yeah. So you just, it's not so much what is your least favourite word, you just don't really like most of the words.
Just cut down the words. Stop adding new words. I get by, I don't know how many words there are in the world, but I reckon I hardly use any of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, this year's word must be podcast.
Yeah, but
that'll be in the dictionary, and
but it's made up, innit? It wasn't here before, it's just another one. This is what I'm saying about...
But what else would you call this? You know, there is a new concept called podcasting. That is a podcast.
But it's also a broadcast. We had a word for it. It's still a broadcast.
Yeah, but they go, oh, you're a broadcaster. Oh, what radio station? No, I don't work on a radio station. I do a radio show, but I don't understand. Well, I do a radio show and I upload it, and I don't understand. It's called a podcast! Done!
Here's another idea. Add a new one, get rid of an old one. Last one in, first one out, or whatever. Do it that way. That's a good way.
What would you get rid of then? So we've brought in podcast this year, but what word would you lose?
Well, what's the name? Those birds that died out.
Dodos.
Get rid of it. If the bird's gone, the word can, surely.
It's almost profound.
Oh, it's amazing. It's great. Oh, God.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Learning.
That's a nice answer.
Yeah.
Excellent. Will you say that?
Yeah, but everything you teach me, I take it in. It's just that sometimes I go, I don't get it. But that still counts as far as I'm concerned.
Well, no, it doesn't. Learning is, knowledge is, there must be some sort of retention. You can't say I've got a great memory for a second. You can't say that. It has to stay there. And then knowledge has to be, applied. You can't just have all this knowledge that isn't applicable because it's useless. I mean, trivia is useless to a large extent. It's not real knowledge because it doesn't really help you in practically.
No, but there's a lot of that going on. You're always reading stuff that you go, I've just read that. It's got me thinking for a minute. It's not going to help me in any way, but it gets a reaction, doesn't it?
Well, that's good, yeah. That's what art does, and yeah, sometimes education's good for its sake if it really does inflame, but
then sometimes, like I've said before, you can know too much where it gets you down.
Go on.
I just was reading something about an octopus. That's like a killer octopus. And it annoyed me that this was knocking about now. Because I didn't know, I thought they were quite friendly. Whenever you see them in cartoons and that, they're always happy, aren't they? And then suddenly, like, they've sort of brought the whole sort of creature down. Do you know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
Well, just you know, when you see them in films, they're running about and that, and everybody likes an octopus. But this one that's on it was your fault really, because you told me about that frog that's going about killing people.
No, I didn't say that.
So I looked it up on the internet at like other creatures and stuff, and there's some octopus that's in the sea, and what it does, you don't even have to like threaten it. It just spits in the water, and if that stuff gets on you, does you in.
Again,
So in a way it's good knowledge, because, I mean, I don't go in the sea anyway because it's full of stuff like that, but that's just reassured me that I'm doing the right thing. If they're knocking about, just gozzing everywhere, you don't even have to be near one, you don't even know if it's been spitting and stuff. It can kill you. It just seems unfair. I haven't harmed it, I haven't gone near it, why is it getting annoyed with me? Doesn't seem right. So that's where a knowledge has not helped that octopus out. Because now, when you eat them, I just think, yeah, have another one. Do you know what I mean? Get rid of them.
Another conversation with himself. Another conversation with himself.
What is your favourite curse word?
I don't think I do anything like that. I think people can tell by my face when I'm like fed up.
Well, they know you're fed up because you're always whinging.
I don't think I've got one. Knobhead. That sums everything up, and I think it's...
But you wouldn't call your nan a knobhead, would you? What would you call a nan?
But she doesn't do anything to annoy me that much.
But if she did, what would you say? If she really annoyed you?
Well, knobhead's alright, isn't it? Because she sort of gets it. It's one of them things that everybody understands, but it's not too offensive.
Right.
What a knobhead.
Alright, you're getting into this, aren't you?
So that sums it up, but I don't really... Do you need one of them? What's that doing for you? It's better to think, innit? Like, okay, I've just slagged off that octopus, but at no point was a effing and jeffing about it. You know how annoyed I am with it. I don't have to start swearing about it, and that's...
What would you do, though, if you were swimming, right? It was a nice little thing, you're on holiday, right? And there's this octopus there, and you're going around, right? And you just see it start spitting at you, poison. What would you say to it?
Well, it's too late then, innit? And I'd kick it. And I'd say, you knobhead. I would, but what's the point? What's the point in getting annoyed now? Because it's done its stuff, hasn't it?
He's kicking and calling it knobhead under the water. What is this octopus thinking? Oh, God. Oh, okay, you fucking eight-legged shit.
I'm not bothered. I don't know what you're saying.
Fucking cunt of a mollusk.
I'll just spit at you again. It's not bothered.
You slimy little fucking boneless wanker.
This is why the face
Are you
is
still
good.
talking to the octopus?
That balance, isn't it? It's everything in life. Too much of it, it ruins it. It's not healthy. Too much of anything, you know, whether it's... I love biscuits, but having two, you kind of go, oh, that was nice, but I'll stop there. You eat a full biscuit, all those biscuits you really loved, but you eat a full packet, you feel down, you feel sick. So it's just...
finding that right
tricky,
balance.
Yeah, and it does worry me because at the same time, when I'm working, I do have a moan as well and a bit of a breakdown, like, I can't do this, you know. Like I said, I didn't do well in school, and writing something, it's harder for me than it is for most people who are making telly, because it's harder for me to work it all out in my head. So I'm like, I can't do this, I shouldn't be doing it, I haven't got the qualifications, someone else should be doing this who could probably do it better. And Suzanne's just like, oh, can't you always do this? You know this happens every time you get like this over work, but you love it. So just get back in and get on with it. But it is part of the thing. I do like it. I like the struggle. I mean, they sort of say it's the hard stuff in life that sort of keeps you going and a sense of achievement when you get to the end.
That's right. Yeah.
The easy stuff, yeah, it's easy, but what do you get out of that?
You are challenging yourself.
Nothing. So it's making sure... Again, it's a balance. I don't want to be one of those people who works all the time, where you don't have time to enjoy those walks or me cleaning or, you know, doing the gardening.
Sure.
But it's nice. Balance.
I did Crusaders I think I lasted that out for about 4 weeks.
What's Crusaders?
Well, it was my mate, right? He was religious.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not, really. But...
No, I mean, you believe in ghosts, though, and shadows pushing people off bikes, but go on.
But it's the same time, I think I told you once before that I went to the church with this lad because I swore and he said he was going to tell me dad.
Yeah.
I was effing and jeffing. So he said, if you're gonna...
Is that how they get people to church nowadays?
I love that one kid that, yeah, he hasn't got the idea of the protection game. There's nothing in it for him. Either you turn to religion or I tell your father.
Right, so I went to church with him and that, and then the next week he said, I know that was rubbish and you didn't enjoy it. It's when I got kicked out for messing with a tennis ball in the pews, right?
I don't think we've heard that, but I don't think we could possibly go into that now.
Summed it up.
Yeah.
So,
well, no,
come on, we'll come back to that. You had a tennis ball and some pubes.
No, in the pews.
In the pews, right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went there and I said, I don't think much of this church thing, it's a bit boring.
Sorry, and so you went to church and you ended up in the Crusades?
No, it's called the Crusaders. What it is, it's meant to be the fun part of religion for kids.
Right.
And my mate said, oh, you want to come along? It's, you know, you go on a Friday night and do it on a Sunday as well. Right, so I went on the Friday night, it was brilliant. They had Sabutio, played table tennis in this dead big old house.
And what do they do at the end? Say, I hope you enjoy yourself. Remember, God gave you all this.
Well, it's sort of, you know, enjoy the simple things in life. You don't need computer games, you can play table tennis and that, and talk with your friends.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. I thought, yeah, that's alright.
I think you'd be happy in a young offenders institution. You get to clean the toilets there.
But don't forget, Carl, I think God invented Nintendo too.
Right. Well, anyway, so that was alright. I loved it on the Friday.
Yeah.
And my mate said if you go for 4 weeks in a row without missing a day.
Yeah.
You get a free badge. And, I was
and
like,
salvation.
I don't like all this sort of being stuck in stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what made me head in about school.
Down.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, every day.
Yeah.
Right, so, anyway, so you've got to come again on Sunday, so I thought, well, we'll have another game of table tennis, it'll be alright.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go on the Sunday.
Who was this servant of God?
Right. I go on the Sunday, it's like a totally different club. There's no table tennis.
That's how they trick you.
No Sabutio.
Yeah.
They start handing out Bibles.
Oh.
And
It's like a timeshare thing.
Hang on a minute, right?
They trick you.
So I didn't go again on Sundays. I used to just go on the Friday.
Just go on the Friday. Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm amazed no one else saw through that.
Well, the thing is, there used to be loads there on the Friday, so
I bet
I thought they won't even notice if that I'm not, like,
yeah,
do you
sure.
know what I mean? That I'm not showing up on a Sunday. So anyway, carried on. It was
Just
brilliant.
this kid in the vicar?
Oh, I love that. You got one over on the church.
So I was loving it, right? Playing table tennis and that. And then on a Sunday, they found out where I live, and the head fella started coming round, knocking on the door.
God.
He's everywhere, Rick.
Why did he knock?
The fella
Politeness.
The fella who like ran the club, he started coming around knocking on the door, and I saw him coming up the path, and I said to my mum, "Oh, it's the fella from the Crusaders." Yeah. She didn't even know what I was.
No,
she
thought
like,
you were off nicking hubcaps and stealing cars.
She didn't have a clue what I was talking about.
You've been going to
church. I don't believe it.
Little bleeder.
That's not how we brought you up.
So I said, "Look, just tell him I'm not in. Tell him I'm not in." And she had to keep doing this, and they were coming round every Sunday to try and make me, like, go on a Sunday. It was really important that I went and that I was abusing the system and all this. Anyway, I didn't go, and then...
Why didn't they just tell you on next time you turned up on a Friday?
Yeah.
No, well, because there was so many people there on a Friday, you just get mixed in the crowd.
Yeah.
It was jammed. It was well popular on a Friday.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, on one of the Sundays, it was quiet for a bit, and they stopped coming round. So I thought, right, I can go out again, right, on a Sunday, because I used to avoid hanging around the house in case...
What sort of reign of terror is
Incredible.
Right. So I thought,
It's like the Spanish Inquisition.
So I thought, great, they forgot about me.
Yeah.
Everything, I can carry on in sort of normal life now.
Yeah.
And I was playing out in the avenue. Fella comes round. And he goes, there you are. You know, you're always busy on a Sunday. You enjoy Fridays and that, don't you? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, come on, you've got to come with me. And I couldn't get out of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what could I say?
Charlie says.
Right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, he nearly killed me in a car crash. So that was the excuse I used next time. He had a Mini, right? And he was driving us there, and he hit the curb, nearly sort of turned over the Mini. Right? There was like 3 of us in the back. So I said...
Is that a record?
So... Next time,
or was it a joke?
Next time he came round to pick us up, I said, look, really enjoyed it and that. I said, but ever since that journey, I really, you know, I don't want to get in the car with you again, because it scared me a bit. And I said, all right then, I didn't have to go again.
That's all right, isn't it?
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
He almost killed you in a car crash.
It's a parable. Thank God no one was hurt.
Yeah.
I remember that...
Your life moves in incredible ways.
Yeah.
Rather like God.
Yeah. So, they're probably round there now, aren't they? Is he coming tomorrow?
Do you have recurring dreams? Is there one that you've always had since you were a youngster?
I don't, I'd say since the age of 13, 14, I don't sleep that well. I've got a bad back. I was in a shop the other week trying to get a new mattress. A decent mattress is so expensive.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It's not a reoccurring dream. I had one a few weeks ago when I lost everything and living in a really rough flat, in a rough place. And I was like, what has happened? Why have we lost everything? And do you know when you wake up and you're so relieved?
Yeah.
And it makes you appreciate everything again.
Yeah.
But that's not reoccurring. That's obviously a little anxious thing. Maybe it was before I started promoting the TV thing I've done. So that I'm not comfortable with that. And I remember a dream I had when Ricky and Steve, you know, during the podcast thing. I'm not from this world of telly and entertainment and putting yourself out there. So I'm not that comfortable with it. And when I first started doing it, I remember having a dream where I went into a toilet, sat there doing my bit, and then Ricky pushes the door open, and there was a big audience sat there looking at me on the toilet.
That's horrific.
So again, that was an anxious thing. That was putting myself out there to strangers.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy.
At your most vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am, yeah. My pants around my ankles with an audience, and Ricky stood there laughing with that laugh he's got. And so I'd say most dreams that I have that I remember, they're not all the same, but they're all the same theme.
That's
and it's normally the fear of not being in control, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, my life's changed and I don't know why. A load of people looking at me on the toilet. I'm sure there's another one. Chasing in a tunnel when you're running and a train's coming and there's, you know, you're just running.
Mm.
Yeah, and sleep's meant to be relaxing.
I know, right?
You wake up
knackered.
shattered.
Yeah.
Big day, Karl, though, isn't it? Because you know, there's lots going on, and I know Karl's it's very, very important for him that he champions Live Aid.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what. I am sick of it, to be honest.
Sick of what?
Just sick of reading about it. Sick of this Live 8 thing. Sick of it all.
Brilliant.
Fed up with it.
What annoys you particularly?
It's not only that today, though, is it? On the way in today, right, saw a gay fella on a bike.
Weird?
On a bike, rushing. What time did the gay march start? What time did it have to be?
Why are you looking at me? I don't know.
No, but he was rushing, left it late, so he'd had a late night again. So my point's right about him.
What was your point about, just to people who've just tuned in?
Well, the fact that they go out late, so, you know, they sort of have a nice night out from about 11:30. They're lying in the jeans at like 10:30.
In their jeans! Their leather trousers.
But anyway, right, so...
They're cutting the back out of their leather trousers about 10:30 at night.
I'm on the way in, right, and I see one stressed out, rushing, right, on a racer, wearing high heels.
Oh, I love you. He's 50's dad, isn't he? He's angry. He's just angry.
If you're a gay fella and you're proud to be gay, but you also want to make poverty history, you don't know what to do today, do you? You're all racing all over the place. It's been murder. It seems a bit unfortunate that they've put them on the same day.
Yeah. Well, you can get little leather studded wristbands that say make poverty history.
Yeah.
So you know, you can join in on both
You
parts.
can kill two birds at one stone.
Yeah.
But why is Live 8 stressing you out? It's for a good cause. You must have, you know, I know we've discussed this in the past, and you don't really know what you're talking about. But
I mean, maybe that's the problem. I'm just, I don't know. I mean, I could have told them ages ago that there was no way that they were going to pay it back. I knew that was going to happen.
I love that. But they didn't consult you, did they? When they were handing out this money willy-nilly to people who were dying, you could have had a quiet word with them.
All I'm saying is...
You could have said to Harold Wilson, Harold, you're not going to get this back, mate. You are not going to get this back, mate.
When I wanted a mortgage, I had to supply 3 wage slips, is what I'm saying. I was double checked out loads of times.
I'd like to see, have you ever seen that guy Alvin Hall, who gives financial advice to perhaps teenagers who don't know how to spend their money wisely?
Alright.
Perhaps like send him over there. He's the guy with the bow tie.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Send him over there and just sort of have a chat with him and say, make a list of what you're spending it on.
So he's basically, will you be annoyed if they drop all debt and double aid and everything?
No, because I mean, you know, people sometimes need help and that, don't they? You've got to help people out, but it's how many times is the thing. You know what I mean? Let them off. But do I, you know, I've got this monthly payment at the moment, haven't I?
Yeah.
I'm paying for tools for people out there who need a drill to build a house or whatever.
Yeah.
Am I now in my right to say, well, you can't have it all? Do you want the drill, or do you want the debt cancelled? This is what I'm saying. Okay. I'm just, you know, I'm all happy to help people out.
Do you think they're taking us for a mug? Is that what you think you might be taking?
We'll see, won't we? Time will tell, won't we? You know what I mean? If next year at the same time Geldof's putting on another gig, I'll go, what's going on now?
Geldof putting on another gig! And the mean fiddler! What's going on now?
I think you're missing out on the true meaning of today, Karl, which is an opportunity to see Keane for free. I think that's the problem.
No, I don't want to go. I don't like crowds and that, do I?
Right.
Can't be dealing with that. Don't like big crowds. People, because I was talking to people at work about it, and they were saying, oh, you know, it's a big occasion, it's one of them events, like, you've got to be down there, because in years to come, when they say, you know, were you there, I don't see what's good about having a memory being stuck in a crowd of 150,000 people. I prefer to do something nice, say if I have, like, a nice cake and a cup of tea, right? In years to come, when they go, do you remember that day when we were all cramped and what have you? I'll go, no, I was on a nice cake and a cup of tea. So I've got a nicer memory than them. So I believe in doing something nice on a big occasion, do you know what I mean, on a special day,
Do something nice, remember that.
The thing is, you have got a nicer memory than them, because when you look back and they say what you're doing 20 years ago, your memory will tell you you were actually having a cup of tea and a cake, but with a chimpanzee that could talk English. That's what your memory will tell you. You go, I was out with my mate Marty, he's a chimp. And it just, you'll be in cuckoo land by the time you're 50. You'll be just, going, that was great that day, remember? Suzanne, I don't know what I'm talking to Suzanne, she's left you. She's had enough of you waking up.
Well, she's down in Hyde Park watching Bed-Shaped live. She's not worried about cake and a cup of tea.
Have you ever done a march or anything, though? Have you ever sort of...
What are you saying?
Have you, you're having a go at me for not getting behind it all, right? Which I am, because I've got more standing orders going out my account for charities than anything, right? But have you ever got behind a problem?
No. I don't think I have, to be fair, no. No, I am quite slack in that respect. It does take a lot of effort, though, doesn't it?
Well, it depends. What sort?
Well, if you're going to do one of those walks from John O'Groats to Land's End or something, that's a lot of time commitment.
There's one, I tell you what, there is one that looks alright. On, Portland Place, just off Oxford Street, there's always, just a little Chinese fella sat on the pavement, right?
Oh, I've seen him, yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah.
He's just sat there with a poster, but you don't know what it's for, because it's in Chinese.
Yeah.
So he's just always sat there. But that's for me, that's the sort of march I want, where you just... And he's only there when it's sunny. If it's raining, they don't bother.
I tell a lie, I did pop down when all those women walked through London in their bras.
If there was maybe a work of art or a piece of music or something that goes under the umbrella of art that takes your breath away. So one song or one album, one artist, anything like that.
Something that recently... That isn't... It was more of a nature thing. Do you know, a murmuration?
Yeah, I live in Brighton.
With the birds. Oh, right, well, they've got a good one there, haven't they, on the end of the pier? That sort of thing for me is like... And it happens, it's the time of the day it happens, it's either sunrise or sunset, which is my favourite times of the day, really. There's something really calming. The noise seems to calm down, and everything seems to sort of just...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm at ease at those times, and my favourite job I've ever had was my paper round, and again, that was like, because I was up mega early. No one else is up. It's like I'm the king of the planet type thing.
Yeah, it's
so
beautiful. The
murmuration, it's like, it's my favourite time of the day, and then you've got all these starlings, aren't they? Thousands of them, and I saw one in, where was it? I think it was in Devon somewhere, and it's just like, it's chaotic, but it's organised chaos, isn't it?
Takes your breath away a bit, doesn't it?
Thousands of starlings doing some sort of dance. And I don't know who's leading it. And I don't know when it's going to end, but it just does suddenly. It's like thousands of starlings whizzing about, and then suddenly it just ends, and it's just like the best show ever. And the thing is, especially because I went to see that especially, so there's the thing of, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? We live in such a world of like, everything's on demand.
That's it.
Yet this thing is nature. You can't make it happen. It's not like, excuse me, I'm here for the murmuration. What time does it start? And, go and get a seat over there. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to happen. And so that anticipation of it is really good. And plus, I'd travelled quite a long way to see it. So it's that thing of, we could be going home here. It might not going to happen. So there's that. And then it happens. And it's this sort of noise that you get from it, from the wings. And... I love it. So it is art, isn't it?
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
So there's that sort of art, and then there's stuff like the Lowry stuff. I like that sort of, it's not brilliant drawing stuff, but it's life going on. So...
Did you see the film? The recent one?
Oh, no, with Timothy Spall.
I watched it like last week.
Is it good?
Yeah, it is good. Because I like Lowry. I think it's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's just, maybe part of it is because I'm from the north, so a lot of those factories and things were still there. They're not now, they're all fancy flats, you know what I mean? But I used to do similar sort of drawings when I was a kid with me mum, and we'd just get pieces of, like Formica, like rubbish sort of wood, but glossy.
Yeah,
it's from like cheap wardrobes and that from MFI and that. For some reason, we always had pieces of that around the house. And we'd draw on that with like a bingo pen.
Right.
The big fat pens that my mum had got a bingo with. And you could draw on this Formica, and then once you'd done it all, you could wipe it away.
Perfect.
So I'd draw. It was always stuff like a football field with kids playing football, an old man watching, an old woman pulling a supermarket trolley, bit of rubbish, a dog chasing someone. So it was kind of like life.
Yeah.
And so they were really similar. And I don't think I'd seen Lowry and then thought, I'll draw that. It was just drawing what you knew. And I think that's what he did, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, totally.
I'm sure if you lived somewhere fancy, he'd be doing whatever. What's his name? Who is it who did the fancy lake with the begins with M?
Monet,
yeah.
Yeah.
He was the lake man, wasn't he, with the bridge?
The one.
So, I'm sure if Lowry lived there, he'd have done that. But Lowry did what was on his doorstep. And I think that's what you do, innit? Yeah, that's what you don't change as a person. Doesn't matter how much money you've got on that. Your background sort of sticks with you, and that's what I drew. Yeah, the Starling thing. I mean, we didn't have them in Manchester, so I don't know where that came from. I think I saw Bill Oddie watch one
Bill
once,
Oddie.
and Bill Oddie's quite an angry little man. And yet, when I saw him see them Starlings, he seemed really at ease, and I thought, I want a bit of that. And it's all very well seeing something on the telly, but with the telly makes everything. I think they even put music on it.
And you still didn't cry?
I didn't cry, no. But I tell you what, thinking about it, I've got a little bit of a shake going on here. So I'm still sort of thinking, it is amazing. But they put music on the Starlings on the Bill Oddie programme, and I remember thinking, why have they added music to this? It doesn't need it.
Didn't need Coldplay, did it?
It doesn't need it. We're in that world, aren't we? Let's layer it on. Let's try and layer something else. But the noise of the birds should be enough.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So, Karl, if you had to go to a new planet, don't worry about starting life again. They've got sort of like these breeder clones that do all that. But you can choose 6 people from this world to start this whole new world, okay? So you need, as I say, you don't need to.
So what's happening here? Is this?
It's going to be wiped out, okay? It's going to be wiped out, but there's enough on this spaceship for you and 5 other people, okay? And they've got them there. They've got these sort of breeder clones there, so it's going to be populated. You're going to have the workers, the drones, everything like that. But you want to take 6, I suppose, sort of world lords to teach, to lay down the politics, the teachings, the laws, the government.
I'd hate it. And how long have I got to make a decision on it?
Till the end of this podcast. Right, go. Who do you take? Who's the first person you take, and why?
And where are we going? Mars.
Okay, so a planet where there's an atmosphere.
I've got to know where I'm going because I've got to sell it to the people who I'm asking. There's no point when I go, are you coming with me? Where are you going? I don't know.
It's just like this world. There's oxygen, there's seas, there's rivers, there's forests, there's animals, okay? But we're going to populate it with the human race, and you can choose 6 people to lord over this new kingdom.
You want the best people for the job.
Yeah. So, who's the first person?
Probably Patrick Moore.
Why? Why would you take Patrick Moore?
Just because he knows his way about up there, doesn't he? He'll know the way. So just have him. I think that will, whoever I pick next, if they see that he's going, they'll go, right, it's going to be a long journey as it is. You don't want someone who's going to be going, is it left here? Is it right? Do you know what I mean?
And he could play the xylophone on the journey.
But Karl is Moore the most useful person to have if you've only got 6, because he may be very useful getting to the planet.
No, but I've
once
always
you
wanted
got there,
to meet him as well. I've always wanted a chat, and that'd be a good chance, wouldn't it, when I'm in a rocket? How long's it taking to get to Mars?
I don't know, a year.
That's what I mean.
No, it's not Mars, it's somewhere else. Okay, so it's a year to get there, and then.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So it's a good chance to have a chat with him about stuff. I think he'd be up for it as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think
why do you think that?
Just because he spent his whole life talking about what's going on up there, isn't it? And yet he's never been, and I feel sorry for him. Most people when they're into something, they get to go to a place, don't they?
Sure.
People who don't know who Patrick Moore is, he's an 80-year-old astronomer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So let him have a bit of a good life.
So Moore's on board.
Yeah, Patrick Moore. He's on. Right, out 5 others.
4 others now.
Jamie Oliver.
Why would you take Jamie Oliver?
Just food and that. You need someone, because they say that like you can feel down if you don't eat.
He couldn't convince 8-year-olds to eat a carrot. What's he going to do in this brave new world? They're all going to be on turkey Twizzlers.
I think he's got the right attitude. He wouldn't be faffing about. Remember, we've landed now on this new world.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like. The people who've
Listen,
made
I love Jamie Oliver. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't be in my 5 people to start a new world. That's all I'm saying. Nor would Patrick Moore, because he knew the way.
Well, what chef would you pick?
I wouldn't pick a chef. Why would I pick a chef?
Because you want someone who's going to, like I say, food's important. When you're low, there's nothing better. If you're a bit fed up, there's nothing better than having a good...
But Carl, I don't think you've quite grasped that these people have to start civilization again. They have to be wise people who can make the laws.
Yeah, and before you do all that, you need a good meal. So Jamie Oliver, that's his job. It's like when we get there, that's when he kicks in.
Right.
He's the first one, really,
Can I
who
suggest
gets going.
Just to save 2 places on Patrick Moore and Jamie Oliver, take a map and a cookbook. Okay, who's number 3?
What sort of state is this world in? Does it need...
Oh, it's going to take a fucking gardener. It's like it's
the world but new.
It's that exactly. It's the world but new, untouched by humans. There's been no fossil fuels burnt, no machinery, no wars, just this Garden of Eden. And you, Patrick Moore and Jamie Oliver pitch up.
Plus, who else, Carl? Go now. First thought.
Attenborough.
Oh God! Again, he's a genius, and he's a bit of a hero of mine. But I don't know if we need Attenborough.
Just because I reckon if it's a new world, you're saying it's the same, but they always say, don't they, that all worlds are different. So I'd want him there, just to sort of, when we're roaming around, because we'll all stick together for a bit, won't we? When we're roaming around,
then they'll be sick of the sight of you. They go, let's lose Carl.
But you've got 2 men so far who've got a combined age of about 150. I mean, if you're starting a brave new world, dare I say it, not going to be around very long. Shouldn't you be taking some younger, fresher blood?
No, not really, because they haven't lived, have they? These have lived, and they can and they're useful. Like I say, Patrick Moore's done his bit. He's got us there. Oliver has cooked us a dinner. Day 2, I reckon we'd end that on day 1 there. We'd have a dinner, we'd all have a chat.
I don't think you're thinking of the future. I think you're thinking of the journey and then the first night. Okay. So you've got David Attenborough, you've got Patrick Moore, you've got Jamie Oliver, you've got 2 other places.
I get the feeling that you're not so much recruiting people for a new world as I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
As a dinner party with people you'd like to meet that you've seen on the telly. Oh. Come on, 2 more.
I'd text someone who's a bit daft. Just so...
No, you don't need to, Carl.
That's covered, believe us.
Yeah,
no, that's what I mean, though. I don't want them having a go at me going, why are you here? I'd point the attention somewhere else. To text someone else who'd sort of wind them up. So
who's that then?
Paul Danan, or someone like that.
It really is. I'm a celebrity. So you've got Patrick Moore, you've got David Attenborough, you've got Jamie Oliver and Paul Danan.
They're starting life again.
Okay then, brilliant. Oh God. Right, 1 more. This is amazing. It's going to be. I'd love to go back and visit this in 1,000 years. What teachings they laid down. Oh God.
Don't know. It'd have to be a woman. I think you got to have a woman in that little group, haven't you? Could have another woman chef or.
It's mainly eating.
He's got that covered with Oliver, but no, he's got to take Nigella in case he's in a cream cake kind of mood.
Oh God. Delia Smith was furious. She packed her bags and everything.
Or a nurse.
Now you're thinking.
Abby Titmus.
I was in the school team. I wasn't that good as a kid at football, to be honest. Mainly down to, I think it's because my dad wasn't into football.
Right.
And I think that's the way it works, isn't it? If your dad's into it, then you could be a footballer when you're older.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you're into it. And so I was in the school team because I got on with the other lads. They let me in the team.
Popular guy, yeah, sure.
And Yeah, I was stood there doing nothing because I didn't really know what to do. I never knew which way I was meant to be shooting.
Yeah.
Got all that messed up.
Yeah, that is a
I just stood there, right, and with my hands behind my back, and something landed on me on like this part of my thumb.
You can't just point. It's radio.
It's this bit here.
Right. Yeah.
The fleshy bit. The fleshy bit of the thumb. Yeah.
And I thought, oh, what's that? And I looked down, and
Is
it was
it
a
a
bee.
thumb? Oh, it was a bee, yeah.
It was a bee on me. So I start running, try to get away from it, and bees, actually something interesting about bees, more chance of getting stung by a bee in windy weather than any other sort of weather.
That's incredible.
Anyway, so I'm running away.
And he said there was no more.
Extraordinary. I've already learned many things. You're being chased by the bees,
So
windy.
I'm running.
It's on your thumb. Is it still on your thumb now?
It's sort of gripping onto me like a stag beetle.
Clever.
I love it. Oh,
Or a bee.
yeah.
So I'm running, and I'm running towards like the goal.
Yeah.
Oh God! And the ball comes to me.
Yes.
Wallop, get it in.
Brilliant. What happened to the bee though? Did it sting you?
They die, don't they?
I mean, ultimately it died, sure, but at that particular moment, did it sting you?
This was probably about 20 years ago, so I imagine.
No. Once a bee stings
So
you.
did it
that's
sting you?
Yeah, but did it sting you?
Yeah.
Right, that was the question.
When did it sting you?
When I was playing football.
Carl, do you mind me asking, you say you're on the school football team. Was there just 11 boys at your school? Was that how you got in the squad?
Listen, Carl. All I mean is, at what point in this story did the bee sting you? Straight away?
After
or
half time.
Play a record.
I saw The Joker recently in the cinema.
Yeah.
And people just on the phone. Well, that's it. I was a big fan of Kez. And it was the time our dog had just died.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any pets, and the cats were always getting run over.
yeah.
And so we didn't want any more pets.
Yeah.
But there was a magpie that used to fly about on the estate, and I managed to sort of tame it. And in the end,
with a chair and a whip. What do you mean you tamed it?
Well, just used to sort of hang around it and talk.
But how did you get hold of it? Did you catch it?
Well, eventually, yeah, it used to just come to me, and the annoying thing was, it got to a point when I wish I hadn't bothered, because it used to pop me bike tyres. It used to sit on like, if I was talking to my mates and I was on my grifter.
I love the way he just throws things in.
It's like an Alan Bennett play.
It landed on my tyre, and it used to peck at the time, pop it, and then it used to then never go away, so it was always like around the house, and my dad said never bring it in. So it used to sit on the porch, and I used to go out, and it used to fly down and land on my head, and it really hurt. It used to like peck and stuff.
He thought it was a tyre.
So it wasn't so much tamed as a stalker.
Oh God!
So you took it to school and it flew away?
Yeah.
So did you take it in proudly, going, "Look at my magpie"? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh
well,
no!
I think it got a bit confused in the area that it was in, because I used to just keep it sort of around our estate, but the school was a bit of a distance away.
How did you get it there?
Carrying it on my finger.
Did you walk?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was happy there, and then it got.
It used to be one of those things that people would stop me in the street and sort of go, "Oh, what's that?"
And I don't suppose
Maggie, called it Maggie.
You didn't get Charlie's Angels to go and find out what happened to it? Investigate?
Were they impressed?
No, not really.
I'm just going to tell the listeners there, Carl, this is quite a little insecure sort of chap, and he was just worried about that last bit. He was going, who would ever find that interesting? He was worried about people finding him boring. And Steve said, as I said, you know, it's like an Alan Bennett thing. He went, yeah, but, you know, no one would care about Alan Bennett if he wasn't such a hit maker. They wouldn't care what he had to say. And we just looked at him for a while, and he went, thinking of Tony Bennett. Bless him.
Listen, it's almost the end of the show, Carl.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really been a Carl special.
This is a Carl special, yeah.
Well, next week,
we won't be
we'll lay off
getting
next
week. We have to
We're
know.
not going to...
He wants to retire a little bit, just...
One of those old lottery numbers might come up tonight anyway.
Exactly. You might... What are they again? What's the 4 you've come up with?
Fuck my way now.
What? Come on, well, give us all 6.
No.
Why?
Carl, while you're rummaging for that...
5, 9, 12 and 26.
A few more names that you may recall from Friends Reunited.
Go on.
Lisa Shufflebotham? Do you remember her?
Yeah, she...
Was she one of Charlie's Angels?
No, she wasn't that nice, but she wanted me. her and her mate Rachel, I remember, I don't know why, but it was some sort of PE lesson where it had to be a bloke and 2 girls, and they were fighting over me.
Could you hear what they were saying?
They were just like, I want him, and I was loving it. Stuck in the middle, and they were fighting over me. And then the next week, I thought I'll sit near them.
What sort of game do they play at this school?
I don't know.
That's an incredible game.
But I think
punch me on the arm. No, punch me on the arm, Carl.
They just went through it because the following week I thought, right, I'll sit near them again because I quite enjoyed the way they fighted over me. But then they picked somebody else, and I don't know who I was with that week.
So you didn't get any action with Shufflebotham or Friend?
No. And then as she got older, she went a bit off. She didn't look that good. She's probably nice now. It's just, I mean, I'll say about myself, when you get to sort of the end of secondary school, you do sort of go a bit odd looking.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? When your sort of head grows funny.
I would just love to go back to his school of that era. I mean, just what happened to people where they're, you know, all people sprouting limbs.
No, do you know
and
what I
things.
mean? When you're like 12 and that, you quite, no, not 12. When you're 10, when you're 7 to 10, you sort of look healthy, and you look at your pictures when you go, yeah, I was a good-looking lad. But then when you get to late secondary school, something happens, and you just look a bit odd.
Okay, well, what about Alison Thorpe?
Not sure about her. I sort of know the name, can't put a face to it.
Damien Comer?
Again, know the name.
Yeah.
Can't remember anything.
No.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Well, those are pretty much all the names I could find. We've had some interesting thoughts, though, and interesting anecdotes.
Yeah.
Anyone in particular that you'd like to say hello to that maybe listening now that
No, I think I would have mentioned Darren Buckley if you hadn't have brought him up.
Oh, right.
He was like me buddy.
Yeah. Did you ever see the Magpie game when you took it to the school and confused it?
No.
You're joking. That was the end of it, was it?
Yeah.
So where did it go?
Probably to some other kid. Because I mean, actually, it probably got killed. Because if it was being that friendly with other people, some people might have took advantage of it.
In what way?
Well, there was a programme on the other week about...
What, in the way that Shufflebotham was trying to take advantage of you?
Well, there was a programme on the other week about bear whisperers.
Yeah.
And some blokes got really friendly with a bear, and then when they were leaving that area where the bear was, they said, oh, we've caused a problem here, because there's some bear hunters coming in and moving into this area, and it's going to get a bullet if it acts like this, so they had to scare it away, and that's what I should have done with Maggie. I should have terrified it a little bit, so it wouldn't trust humans. You know
Just introduced it to some of your schoolmates, I'm sure would have freaked it right out.
Well, the ones with
maybe that was why it fled.
It didn't see. Oh no, it didn't see those two fellas with big heads and webbed hands coming towards it, did it?
That would have terrified anything. It's like a scarecrow, like two walking scarecrows.
It's always when my girlfriend's working away, I always think about odd things.
Do you?
Odd times.
Doesn't she leave you shiny things or videos in so you don't get too depressed? You can.
Well, last night when I sent you that text. That was
right.
Right, let's play a record. This sounds intriguing, because I'm worried that Carl's
intriguing. It's incredible. Right, play a record. Right, wait for this text that Carl sent me. Woke up this morning, yeah.
Feeling fine.
It's not a blues song. And I turned my phone on, and it was from Carl, and it went, forget it, I've made my mind up. And I thought,
wow,
what is that? And I
forget
phoned him.
it, I've made my mind.
Yeah, I went, Carl, what is it? He went, oh no, it's about the text I sent you last night. I went, well, what was it? I just got this text. He went, I was just wondering, I was thinking last night. He said, supposing you had to have your hands removed.
Sure.
Right? And the doctor said, well, you can either have them stay like that with stumps, or I can sew feet there. What would you have? And I was bleary-eyed, and I went, the stumps? He went, yeah. I went, alright? He went, yeah.
And then what was his follow-up text to that?
And then I got the text, it was obviously before it, and it went, and it was like quite serious. What would you do if Sarah's not doing your hands? Would you have stumps or the feet? Right? Now the way, when I said he's made his mind up, and I went the stumps, he went, yeah. I think secretly he decided on the feet, but was too embarrassed to tell me.
There's a little bit of what would you do? Because
But why did you think of this? Why did you think of this?
Girlfriend's away, right?
Yeah, no, that's not why you start thinking bizarre surgery devices.
Right? I'll let you into my little mind, right? Last night, I had some beans on toast, right? She was away.
It's good already.
She was away, she had some beans on toast, she went wild.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I was stood up, I live on like on a high street, right? So I'm washing up, I'm looking out the window. First thing that had me attention is I can look into other people's flats, right?
Yeah.
And it was weird how all these different lives were going on. I was watching them, and everybody had the telly on and was watching Volcano, right? Which was on last night.
Right.
And I thought, oh, that's weird, right? I can see them all watching it. And it was like a little Chinese lad who was dancing around in some underpants. And then there's a little old woman who lives downstairs who was reading a book, and she's always reading a book every night, and it's like, I have a better life than her. And then there's like some sort of bouncer who's always getting ready to go out late at night with all the black on. He looks like a bouncer. So I was watching all this life going on. I thought,
did you witness a murder while you were doing it?
Yeah.
It was like that sort of Sliver film where that bloke had loads of tellies watching people's lives. So that was going on in my mind. And then I was washing up, and I picked up the plate, and I thought, oh, it's amazing, isn't it? The human body, the way you can just sort of, you know, I want to pick that up, and you do.
Yes.
And the way your hands work, right? You've got 5 little digits, but it's just the right amount to do what to do what you've got to do, right? So I'm cleaning the plate.
Sorry, Carl, stop. It's just the right amount. Might be one of the most genius things I've ever heard said. I would love David Attenborough to phone you up and say, Carl, how do I word this about the evolution of the mammalian front limb? Just go, we'll just say it's the right amount.
But it is. One extra would get in the way. Yeah. And one less would just make it a little bit more tricky when picking up a bit of a slippery dish.
Sure, or buying gloves. Yeah.
A slippery dish.
So then I was thinking, imagine like going to the doctors and he's saying, yeah, everything's all right, your heart's good and everything, but
your heart's good. What, your Larry's or
your heart, you're in good form and what have you. It's good news. You know, I had Giano in earlier. He's not looking good.
Yeah. I had Fats Waller.
But you're all right. But your hands need to come off.
Right. Blimey.
But
that's bad. Like, I'd get a second opinion initially.
But a better good news, I've got a nice pair of feet I can sort you out with.
Yeah.
And he puts them on, and then I was thinking, right, first of all, washing up, what would that be like? I thought,
Steve,
that'd be tricky. Yeah. And then the second thing was, it'd probably ruin the sort of the shape of your jumper.
Because you have to keep putting the feet through there. Yeah.
And then I thought, but I could still cycle in.
Okay.
To work.
You could run in.
Well, that's the thing.
You'd be really fast.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I thought I could still cycle because I could balance, and then I thought, but the only thing is I probably couldn't pull the brakes. Because of the little short things.
Yeah.
And then, like you, I thought, but then again, you'd run in half the time. So that's what was going on in last night.
Right.
That's what...
Thanks ever so much.
No, you know, I don't get asked to do that much stuff, to be honest. So it's not really a perk or anything you've got here. It's not. But a lot of the time, I can't be bothered because I feel like I've got nothing to say. In a way. Or it's all been said.
But do you not think that? But that's authenticity. I think is why that. And this is a compliment. I don't want to make you awkward or anything, but I think people love you so much because you are honest. There's no. I mean, we were chatting before. There's no BS, is there? You know.
Well, it's easier that way because I just think you get caught out, don't you? Because people remember stuff.
Must be exhausting.
In fact, they remember stuff more than I do. Because that's the one thing that is weird, you know, because like I say, I've done podcasts and all that, done books written about stuff that's happened in my life or whatever, and people remember it more than I do.
Yeah. So
they come up and say, "Oh, I love that thing you talked about," and it's kind of like, what? And it's weird. It's like I've got dementia or something, and people are almost like a family member, and they're telling me stuff that I've gone through. But I'm like, what? Yeah. And then the more they explain it, I go, oh, yeah, I remember that. But to me, it happened to me once, or I said it once.
And why would you
why would I listen back? And it's funny how, you know, people sort of remembered all the detail that I talked about, but to me, it's gone. And I feel like with all the travel stuff and everything that I've done, you know, it's almost like I've done too much in a short space of time. And I can hardly remember any of it. It's like snapshots. All the travel that I've done, there's some people who live a lifetime and don't go to all the places they've been to. So to do it all in the space of like 4 years, I think I went around the world like 2.5 times or something. So you kind of have little snapshots, but it was all too much for me. And my brain can't... I know my brain's not that good, really, there's loads of problems with it. But one of the things is like memories and stuff, really flaky now. So it is weird. I'll never get used to that either. People coming up and, how is your, Uncle Stan and all that.
Sure.
It's like, it died ages ago.
Yeah.
And then they're shocked. It's almost like they're sad about that, because I should have warned
By the way, before we chat, the following things have happened.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, a little catch up, like one of those things you get before a programme previously. A little, but yeah, it's odd. But my point was there that you can't really bullshit, and it's better not to. What's the point?
Totally.
What's the point?
In terms of that memory thing, there's an American comedian called Jay Moore, and he said he made a movie with Eddie Murphy.
Right.
And he's a big Eddie Murphy fan, and he said he was quoting Eddie Murphy's material back to him from the earlier. Oh, do you remember this on Raw? Do you remember this on Delirious? Do you remember this on? And he said it was so obvious that Eddie Murphy didn't know what he was talking. He was going, "Oh yeah," and then he goes, "Of course, because Eddie Murphy's lived that. Why would he still remember stuff from 1982?"
I've probably done a lot more since.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing. You can't remember it all. It's just you sort of move on, and especially on that travel stuff that I did, because it was always a bit of a shock to the system anyway, and if you're dealing with something as a surprise, I think it's like your brain's getting rid of stuff you don't need to remember anymore to deal with what's in front of you now, I think.
Yeah.
It was all like...
I think that is the thing.
It's hard to explain, but...
Your brain can only store so much.
Yeah.
And I think your brain, from what I understand, makes the call, you don't need this anymore.
I know.
The stuff that's happening now is more important.
So that's annoying, though, isn't it? When it remembers,
of course it is.
It remembers a bit, but not enough to be useful.
Yeah.
It's like, but forget it all then.
Yeah.
Don't bother remembering that you once, that's what happens on quiz shows and stuff. You sort of have a question, and you go, I know this, and you do, but you don't, and it's kind of like, just forget it then. just it's better off just going, I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, it's it is crowbarring it in. I suppose the sick of it thing that I've been doing is about that relationship with me and me brain and the way it thinks and stuff like that.
The great thing about sick of it, I was telling someone in the Balance office about it.
And I went, what's that? I've never heard of it.
No. But they went, how has that not been done before? Because it's such a... the best ideas ever, in my opinion, are the simple ones where you go... Jeff Bridges says this in the film Crazy Heart. He plays this song and Maggie Gyllenhaal goes, "Oh, I've heard that before." And he goes, "No, the sign of a classic is when you think..."
familiar.
Yeah, and I think the genius of Sick of It is when you hear what the synopsis is and you go, bloody hell, what a great idea for a show.
I mean, I don't know if it has been done. There might have been different versions of it.
I don't think it has.
For me, it was just that thing of most telly, most written things are about relationships of loads of different people, as if people always have loads of friends and stuff there for them.
Yeah.
And that isn't always the case. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people out there sort of on their own and have to work stuff out on their own. And it's that battle of, working stuff out. And am I doing the right thing? Is this the right thing? This is what I think I should do, but is that going to piss people off? And is that battle that you have of who you're meant to please, yourself or other people and stuff like that. So I think people could relate to it.
I think everyone can relate to it, Carl, honestly.
Yeah. But I always felt like it was a tough thing to switch from, going from like the podcast stuff to the travel stuff to this is quite a big leap. And it's been really hard for people to sort of, they were like, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. Thought it was going to be a bit dafter, or, I want to wear like the stuff from you. And it's like, well, it is from me. It's just that it's kind of my thoughts and worries, but put into a little story. And it's funny how they struggle. A lot of people who are really into what I do, it was a bit too much for them. They're like, I couldn't get my head around what you were trying to say then. But you've got to do what you want to do. You can't... I could have quite easily just kept doing, radio or podcasts or travel. But there comes a point when you go, I'm done with that.
Totally.
And I don't just want to go through with it just to take the money. It worked because what was going on in my head during those travels was what was going on in my head. I wasn't comfortable. But if you keep getting put into situations, you get used to it. There was a point when Bear Grylls probably went, I don't know about drinking my own piss. I don't know if I can do it. Now he loves it. and it's not the same, is it? If he was on I'm a Celebrity, people wouldn't enjoy watching him because it's not. He'd be going,
it's not a challenge.
This. Yeah, I like this. I like that.
Yeah.
So you've got to sort of know when to go. Enough's enough, and I'm going to have a go at something else, and maybe some people drop off and go, it's not for me. But I hope that some other people went, well, I didn't like his other stuff, but I like this. But it's quite hard to get people who have made up their mind about you to give you a go.
Absolutely.
On something else. It's so hard. And even with doing this, I sort of wonder, especially with podcasts, because you can click on it and say, like, they've listened to your podcast before and they go, oh yeah, I like that person, I'll listen to that. Just because they listen to your podcast doesn't mean they listen to every one. You handpick, don't you?
Of course you do.
So maybe I'm still talking to people who have, heard me chatting on radio shows and everything, and I'm not getting to anyone new. And I think that's been the biggest struggle for moving on, like getting new people to give this sick of it a go. And you can't, like you said, sort of bullshit. There's no point selling it as something else that it isn't, because they'll know within a few minutes of watching it that it's like, oh, this isn't like the travel stuff. But I don't know, people, they don't give stuff a chance these days, do they? Very sort of, there's always something else you could be doing. So if they don't like something within, 5 minutes, they're off. I'll download something else, I'll stream something else, I'll listen to something else, I'll talk to people on social media.
Yeah.
There's too much to do. So it's like next, and they move on. So that's the problem I've got with this.
I mean, we were talking about things in the 80s before we went on air. Now, back in the 80s, I'm not romanticising the past, I'm perfectly happy here now, but say a show like Cheers in America, probably maybe the greatest sitcom ever.
Yeah, no, it was good.
The first series was dead last it was like 62nd out of 62 shows or something like that.
Really?
I mean, that would have been taught, if that was made now, it would have been binned after 5 episodes. Only Fools and Horses, the first series didn't do great, I don't think. And, again, for many, the great...
Yeah. It's like, I remember watching one of the early ones, that, and it's almost like a different
It is like
show,
a different show.
Different tone and everything.
Yeah.
But you get to know the characters over time, don't you? And I was thinking... Like, I don't know how Only Fools and Horses would do if it came out now. And yet, people now like watching it back.
Yeah.
But they let it go for its little sort of, old-fashioned ways, a laughter track or whatever. But did Only Fools and Horses have a laughter track?
I think they...
Or did they bin it after
No, I think it was a studio audience. And then I think they played, when they'd shot VTs, outdoor stuff, I think they played that to a studio audience.
Right.
I only know that because a mate went to a recording and he said it's mad because the nag said he's next to the flat and...
Oh, right.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? I mean, it'd have been a great thing to see, wouldn't it?
But it must totally take you out of
the
story.
Yeah,
Stop
true.
everyone, right? Put your coat on, we're going to the next... But, it's hard at the moment. I just think because there's so much stuff out there, that's some good stuff... probably totally unknown because no one saw it.
I mean, I think that's the sadness in that there'll be some classic shows that after one series, because it's not getting the viewing figures, it's not testing right.
It's moved on.
It's not going to get the second series.
So that's life, though, isn't it?
I mean, that in itself, the fact that you've hit the second series, I mean, that must feel nice.
Yeah, I remember when we'd finished doing series 1, I was like, oh. That was hard. That was too hard, that. I don't want to do any more. And I always have that. There's always a period of that, whatever I've done. I think it's an insecurity, like, almost like getting myself ready for people to slag it off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't have been doing it. And then when once time passed, stepped back a bit, I looked at it, I was like, there's not much of change. That's the sort of tone of stuff that I like, and the simpleness of it and what have you. And then, when they said about a second, we'd literally we were still editing the first. The fella from Sky came in and said, what about the second series? And I was like, oh, shut up. It's always that sort of thing of, what are you doing next? Do more. It's like, well, we don't know if anyone likes this yet.
So it hadn't even come out yet?
No. No,
wow.
It hadn't even come out.
That's surreal.
No, that's right.
I mean, that's a feather in your cap, though, isn't it?
It is, but a bit of me is like, how much do you like it? What did you like about it? Is there anything we can make better? I'm not slagging John off, you know, he's given me an opportunity here, but a bit of me sometimes wants a little bit of a slagging, or...
To rage against?
Yeah, something to either have an argument about and fight your corner so you know that what you're trying to do is right, or just how other people see it. You know, I don't really do that much social media, but I get stuff... I've got like a Facebook page, and now and again, it's mainly when I'm sat on the toilet, I'll always look. I'll just do a little quick thing of what
I'm the same.
Is.
Great toilet voyeur.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is a bit annoying because I used to like that time as being really sort of zen and absolutely nothing going on. But you know, you've got to cram something into every bit of time.
What have we all done to our brains?
I know
it's
really bad. Yeah. It's not good. So, and I like the feedback, and as long as people can slag something off, if I sort of read it and go, do you know what, they've got a point there. That's a good one. I'll remember that. Cheers for that. Because people just sort of going, oh, I love everything you do. You kind of like, well, you can't love everything I do. There's no way. I don't believe you.
Because you love the Beatles and still flag a couple of tracks you don't like.
You go, oh, what were they thinking? Yeah. So, so I do struggle when there hasn't been any time just to sit back and go, right, let's think about every day that we filmed and every storyline and every scene, and could we have made that better? You know, sometimes it comes out better than you thought it would. But it seems boring. But yeah, basically, we got the go-ahead for that second series. And I don't think there needs to be another now. I kind of feel like it's a nice ending. And I don't know... It's just what I said to you about the travel stuff. It just feels like sometimes it's nice to...
What, stick a flag in it?
Yeah, just go, that's enough. I'm sure we could drag it out for another series, and it'd probably be all right. But I kind of like the way it ends on this one, because I'm not into the everything's rosy type of stories. Everything works out in the end, because it doesn't in life. It doesn't. You get on with it, and you look back at stuff and go, well, it wasn't that bad, was it? But I don't like the sort of... I'm trying to think of the sort of films I'm talking about. Just those films where everything's ticked off. Yeah, everyone's happy. It's like it doesn't happen. But that isn't a bad thing either. As long as you learn from your mistake or whatever, you move on. And it's weird with me, because I'd say my life, a lot of memories that I've got are the bits where it didn't quite work out, or it's rough time.
Yeah.
But they're the ones you look at and go, oh, remember that? You know, that struggle. It's a good time, that.
That's right.
That's sort of, close. You're on the edge of this could all turn to shit, or it could happen. And you haven't quite got enough money, but you're getting by, and you're going, this might be it.
Because that's the adventure, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And once you've got it, it's never as good anyway, is it? It's like a dream.
Mate, 100%.
A dream, it's kind of like, don't achieve your dreams, because it won't be as good, and then you've got to think of a new dream, because you've got that one. So, I haven't... For me, when I was younger, it was always getting on the radio. That's the one thing...
So when you were a kid, you wanted to be on the radio?
Yeah, by about the age of 11. I was rubbish at school, did rubbish at school, but there was always music on in the house. My mum always had the radio on, brother and sister had music, and after school I'd sort of draw. I'd sit at the top of the stairs, just drawing with Piccadilly Radio on. And in Manchester.
Mate, I had the exact same life.
Yeah.
I'd sit in my bedroom, drawing, listening to maybe Steve Wright on Radio 1 or something like that. You know?
And and I used to hear them, and I like, back then radio was different, wasn't it? Now it's all, how many songs can we play in an hour? We've got another 4 coming up non-stop, keep listening there.
So true.
Whereas then, it was like local people talking about stuff that, at places I knew, and the accents were like mine, and I kind of related to them, and I like the way...
That is so true.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this thing that they can do if you're dead, right? No, not if you're dead. It's like if you're ill and you know you're going to die, right?
I don't know what this is anymore.
Extraordinary.
Have a rest. Himalayas. Himalaya. What?
Listen, this is an interesting fact. Come on. If you're ill but you know you're going to die.
Yeah, you can have this thing done in Detroit where you get put in a fridge.
Right.
And if they work out, what's wrong with you in 20 years' time, they go, right, that fella is in the fridge, he had that, we can sort it, let's get him out. and they sort you out.
Yeah. Is this the first time you've come across this idea?
Yeah, I read it the other day. I didn't know
You've
about
never
it.
heard of this before?
It's called
cryogenically preserved.
It's good, isn't it?
They put you at sort of like sub-zero temperatures, so stop all cellular activity.
So do you stop aging at that point?
Yeah, it's suspended animation.
So, well, what's the law on it, right? Because say if I had something, right?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, put me in a fridge, and when you've got the cure and that, wheel me out, sort me out. Say if they did that.
Yeah.
And it was like 40 years.
Yeah.
And in 40 years' time, they get a cure for me.
Yeah.
Would I have to stay with Suzanne? Because she'd be 70.
Do you mean what are the rules? Should you be allowed to date a younger woman?
Well, it's not fair, is it? It's like good news, we sorted you out, but
I don't think she'd mind. I reckon she'd have the best 40 years of her life.
Yeah. And plus, they're never going to find a cure for what ails you.
That is genius. That is brilliant. You come out, you're cured, and you go, oh no.
I love the fact that's what he'd be lying there. If you could think while he was in that state, you'd be thinking, oh god.
She's losing her looks.
Yeah.
Just, oh dear.
But everything else as well, like, my job wouldn't be here.
No.
No. Although the figures would have gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
Flat's probably gone or knocked down or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Most of my family would be dead.
Yep.
So what's the point? What? How do you know about it? Who's done it?
Well, famously Walt Disney, apparently. I mean, Walt Disney actually did die, but had his body preserved so that should they one day be able to bring back people from the dead,
they need Walt Disney.
They'd think, hang on, who do we have?
But with him, nothing is going to change, because when he comes out, Mickey Mouse will still look the same.
Sure.
And Plug and all that.
Play a record! I don't know where your mind is! Play a record! It's brilliant, you just say words! It's the apparatus!
Yeah, what did you list there? What's my job?
I said a TV presenter, author, comedian.
It's that one. I struggle with that.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just come about because I've done some stuff with Ricky and Steve, and they're comedians. But I feel like I don't put me in that camp.
But you don't want to be in it?
I just don't. I think it adds a lot of pressure. I hate it when people, because straight away people go, oh, go on then, make me laugh then. And
you don't want that?
I don't want it. So everything else is good.
Okay, fine.
No, it's fine though. It's good that, leave that in, because it's good that people know that I'm not that.
They've probably written that on Wikipedia as well. You're probably in that camp.
That's the annoying thing, isn't it? Who's made that decision?
Who wrote that?
Yeah.
Anyway, what are you having to drink?
A lovely strong cup of tea for me, please. I normally, if I wasn't chatting with you, I always have a biscuit with tea.
What sort do you go for?
Whatever's in the house.
Right.
But like Happy Face biscuits.
Oh, nice.
Ginger biscuits.
Overlooked sometimes.
It's funny, innit? Because when you're younger, I wasn't as fussy. And plus, you're not in charge of buying the biscuit. So normally they were rubbish ones, because my mum and dad would just know that they're not going to buy quality, are they? We're more feral, aren't we? I shouldn't ask you how old you are, but yeah, kids are a lot healthier now. I look at kids now and I think, you're not eating trifle sponge.
No.
The teeth are good.
Smoothies.
They've got six packs. Do you know what I mean? They're just a different species now, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas me growing up, it was all the food was brown, beige.
Yeah.
You know, starch. It's changed a lot, hasn't it? When you think about the different... I mean, there's still foods I haven't had. When I think about it, it was... You had your basics of carrots and peas was your veg. Whereas, what was the thing I talked about on one of my trips? And I said to the director, I said, I haven't had one. Is it a kumquat?
Kumquat, yeah.
I've never had a... What does it look like, a kumquat?
Really, they're really attractive, like little... they look little flowers.
Spiky things.
Yeah, but they're fruits.
Yeah, well, I said, I've never had a kumquat. And then when I got back, he bought some, but forgot to give them me and left them in his office in a box, and they went rotten, so I still haven't had one.
We won't do them all.
Well, we'll start off with the Mr. Freeze. Tell Steve the story of Mr. Freeze. This is the first time he nearly died.
This is the most serious of the lot, really. So, What it was, do you know, like, I don't know if your mum and dad did the same thing, but, like, they do the weekly shopping on like a Friday.
Yeah.
So when you got to Thursday, there wouldn't be much stuff left in the cupboard. It'd just be like, you know, your Jacob's crackers and stuff like that. So when they'd been to the supermarket and they came back, I was like, you know, what's that saying? Like a pig in... You know, I loved it. It was like loads of food coming in, loads of biscuits.
What is that saying?
He nearly said pig and shit.
Right.
Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all this food comes in.
Thank God he didn't.
Otherwise he'd have been in trouble.
That's true enough.
Because he's culpable for our actions, because he's the producer. So technically, that twat's in charge. Go on.
Right, so anyway, so there's loads of food, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, and chocolate biscuits, and, you know, penguins and stuff.
Bacon.
And bacon.
Just in case, you never know.
So anyway, my mum and dad's putting the food away. Me and our kid are like, he's already grabbed something, gone back upstairs.
It's like feral children. it's like a quest for fire. And then they run upstairs. What did you sit under the bed, gnawing at some sort of pig's trotter?
So I saw, do you remember Mr. Freeze Pops?
I do, yeah. So they're kind of like popsicles, icicles.
Yeah, but really long, like a foot long, right? Yeah. So I thought, I'll have one of them, so I grabbed it.
Went for the nutritious stuff first.
Absolutely.
And like my mum and dad are putting this stuff away and what have you. And I rip it open and knock it back, right? Straight away, just right back like
Swallow
that.
it straight away, yeah.
But it went down the wrong way, right?
So I was down your shirt?
So I was like, oh God, I can't breathe. And my mum and dad didn't even know what I'd ate. Do you know what I mean? I ate it so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of tapping my mum on the back, going, and she's going, oh God, you know, he's choking again, because I was always choking. If there's one thing, I don't know if I've got like a small throat, but I mean, even Ricky knows, I can't drink that much, can I?
Yeah.
Do you know,
or eat pebbles.
I'm not a quick drinker. I'd always, I think I'm scared of like swallowing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like bottle tops and mint imperials and stuff. I was always choking on stuff.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, she's going, oh God, what's he picked up on it now?
Drop it!
So,
and hit his nose with a stick.
So I was going, I'm choking. At this point, my dad had like, I think he'd put his share away, you know, his food away, and he'd gone
his share! I love it!
Yeah.
He'd gone to watch, like, Winner Takes All or whatever, in a lounge, and I was in the kitchen, and I was starting to, like, I didn't care anymore, do you know what I mean? I just got to that point where I wasn't struggling anymore.
You just thought, I'm done for.
I just was, like, falling to the ground. And my mum's going, you know, get in here, I think it's serious. And my dad comes in and sort of starts shouting at me, saying that's what you get for being greedy. He didn't even know what I'd eaten.
Well, it was the moment to teach you a lesson, certainly.
So he's there like that, and my mum's going, oh, look at him, and my lips were going purple, and my eyes were rolling into the back of my head.
You look like Marilyn Manson.
And, so anyway, she grabbed me from behind and did that fireman thing.
The Heimlich manoeuvre.
Yeah. And, you know, winded me. And it came up, and I was alright.
What, the whole popsicle came flying back out?
You see, that's what I don't understand. Because there was nothing there.
No, just a little bit. No, it swells up, doesn't it? Because it irritated it. So it went down your, just sort of like your epiglottis. It went down the wrong way, like it went into your air canal instead of your throat, and it sort of spasms, and that's the fear. You just got to calm it down and relax.
So in time, I would have been alright.
Yeah,
anyway.
you don't.
Well, no, you might have.
So that's so that's
hang on.
one.
No, but the weird thing is, like for like 3 days after that, I felt like a sort of a special person. I went to school.
I'm saying nothing.
I did full days.
A special needs person.
Yeah.
I went to school the next 3 days after that. I didn't like wag it or anything. I did full days.
I love that. 3 days, turn over
yeah, exactly. After 3 days, you thought, screw it.
Yeah, well, did a quick history exam.
Yeah.
Right, next one. That's popsicle. That's popsicle hell, we'll call that. Right, next one.
Which one's the next one?
Oh, what about your paper round?
Right, the paper round one. Paper round, I'd still say it's the best job I've ever had.
And he means it!
No, I really enjoyed it. It's like, you know, you don't have to work with anyone else, right? So you make your own rules.
Just think of that.
You know, you sort of
You're spreading information to people, vital information.
Giving a service, and no one else is around, you know, you can just do what you want and think about stuff whilst you're cycling around on your bike. It's really good.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Imagine the stuff he's thinking about when he's riding around his bike.
I can't. Oh, so getting in the head of a salamander.
So anyway, I loved it, and even though I only got like 50p a day, right, no matter what the weather was like and stuff, I used to get up at 4:30 and go and do the round. And
why'd you get up at 4:30?
Because I wanted to watch the Pink Panther at 5:30, so I wanted to get me paper round done.
I said, why didn't you watch the Pink Panther?
And then
he went, oh, I can't sit there thinking I've got my paper round to do.
He'll ruin it for him.
Yeah, so is it a good job or not?
So 4:30 I was up and about, and this morning it was like winter, really bad winter, bad snow, you know, freezing cold, really windy and all that. And my mum said to me before I went to bed, she said, don't be getting up tomorrow, I'll give you the 50p. I said, it's not about the 50p. So, you know, people want the papers and stuff. So,
conscientious.
So anyway, I went to bed thinking, you know, that's it, I've told her I'm still going, so, you know, whatever. Go to sleep, get up in the morning, and put all my kit on. And I used to have layers of clothing on because it was really cold. I had like a big anorak on with the fur on. I had like waterproof pants, and I got my paper round bag. And I went downstairs to get out, and tried to open the door, and it was locked. Oh, God. So she'd locked it so I couldn't go out. So I'm searching around the house looking for the keys. She must have hid them somewhere. I thought, oh, God, you know, I've got the papers to do. So I thought, how can I get out? So I went upstairs, climbed out of the bathroom window.
God.
Right, and to try and jump out of the bathroom window onto the porch. But the problem was, I had so much gear on, I was like the Michelin Man. So I could hardly move as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get out the window, and I'm like, trying to stretch down like that, get my foot on the porch, and my bag got caught on like the hook of, do you know, like how you have a hook so you can put the window open?
Right, yeah,
the little arm goes on. My bag had got caught on that. I was holding on to the wall and my foot on the thing, so I couldn't sort of pull it away in case I pulled it away and then fell on my head.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck there.
Dangling.
My dad comes back from working nights.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm a burglar.
Gets out his gun.
So he's shouting and stuff, going mad and going, Dad, it's me. And he had to give us a hand using a...
He's heard that wily trick in Manchester before.
He had to help me using a washing prop thing, a big stick.
What did he do?
Well, he said, just hold on for your dear life, and I'll sort of push the paper bag off the hook.
Why didn't he go upstairs and sort it out?
It was at that point where I was in the middle, there was nothing you could do, do you know what I mean? It's at that point where you've just got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And by the time you got upstairs, who knows what might have happened.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to act there and then, no messing around.
Yeah.
So...
And you could hear downstairs, now here he is, the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Dad! Hurry up! Panther, ever so pink! Oh.
So that was close to death, because I must have been about 30 foot in the air.
So, to cut a long story short, he gave me about 4 or 5 near-death experiences, and he went, and the whole point of this, he went, so that's why I think I'm gonna die of something horrible, like cancer. And I went, why? He went, right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
He said, well, I don't check my balls. Wait. He said, I don't like the feel.
Carl, always check your balls.
Do you check
yours? Like the feel. Why don't you like the feel of your own balls?
I mean, you know that I don't like bodies anyway.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It worries me a bit that you've got all that going on in your body, right, and your skin's keeping it all in place. There's a lot of convincing themselves. I think that's what goes on in life. You just constantly sort of going, yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, I liked it. Did you like it? Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? And look, I've got a picture of me smiling to show that I was enjoying it, and I'm going to show other people that I was enjoying it because I'm smiling. So I'm definitely happy. I definitely enjoyed it. Look at the smile on my face. You know what I mean?
And you'll start to remember it that way as well.
Yeah, well,
we loved it there.
That's in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
that's touched upon on one of the episodes about, you know, that what you put out there. You know, photographs. You know, how you're told to smile for a photograph, and if you don't, people sort of go, oh, let's take it again. You're not smiling. It's like, well, I've got no reason to. I'm having all right time, but I don't have to show everyone with a smile.
Yeah,
that I'm happy.
Again, it's another thing that has confused a few of my close mates for years. Is I'm not a big smiler in photos. No. It's like if there's something's happened, I'll smile, but otherwise, I'm I'm not going to be looking angry. It's just
your normal stance.
Here's what I was then.
Yeah.
Rather than a smile now. Give me a reason to smile and I might.
Well, like they say, on a passport photo, they just say neutral face, don't they? Yeah. You don't sit there grinning like a gorp.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's just like, just look into the camera and that is you. That's your normal face. But no, I struggle with all of that. A lot of people, I can't be dealing with him, he's miserable, he's always moaning. And, I think there's a lot more of me out there. I'm not odd. I'm not on my own. And I think that's why
some people like it as well because they do relate.
Yeah.
I think that's all we're looking for, isn't it? People who you can relate to.
Completely.
But it starts getting tricky.
Right.
When you get a kid.
Okay.
Go on, why?
Well, it's just tricky, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you could be right. I'm not giving any. I mean, you know, we're not. There's no right or wrong
It's
answer.
alright if you were if you lived in the jungle, right, with no one else, right, and you just had these two fellas, right, looking after you, but because you got no one else looking in on that, saying, "Oh, you're a bit weird, aren't you?" Do you know what I mean? But as soon as you come,
why have they got married? Do you think that gay people turned to a bloke because they couldn't get a woman? If there's two fellas go away and they're in the jungle, they go, we're definitely not going to find a woman here. We might as well bum. That's not how homosexuality starts. People don't.
It makes you wonder.
No, it does make you wonder. Gays don't go, well, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen a woman I fancy yet. I'll try a bit of knob.
No. But what I'm saying is, right, if you're brought up in like a little jungle, right?
Yeah. How are you brought up?
Someone just puts you there.
I don't know what this is about.
Steve, I can't be bothered.
Go on, mate.
I'm
listening. I'm fascinated.
I can't be bothered running the country. Like, I'm too much trouble for you.
KP takes care of me.
All right, fair enough. What I'm saying is, right, if you're brought up in a jungle,
right,
what
do you mean brought up?
Just let him finish.
What does he mean?
You understand
brought
what
up, though?
like Tarzan.
You've got to tell me what you mean by brought up. Wolves, chimps. What?
Right, well, there's a good example of what I'm saying to you.
Right.
Right, what I'm saying is, there's a fella, right, he's brought up in the jungle.
Shut up, just let him finish. Let him finish!
There's no women about, he doesn't know about women, he doesn't understand what women are.
Right.
Right? But another fella walks in the scene.
Yeah.
And he gets pally with him.
What does he talk about?
Then they've both got needs.
This scenario is ridiculous. How has he lived? Or do you know what's his reference points?
I can't be bothered with this. Honestly, Saturday should have been, day off and that, not worrying me about problems.
What are you scared of? And that doesn't have to be a deep question. It could just be rats or something. But I'm just curious if there's anything you're particularly scared of.
I'm not. In fact, on the drive there, I was talking to my girlfriend about death, and she's quite scared of death. And I was like, "What do you mean? I'm not scared. It's going to happen, and it's when you're at ease, isn't it? When it's all over, and you don't know about it. So I'm not. The way you die is something to be sort of scared about. But again, you can't be scared of it because you don't know how it's going to happen. You've got no control over it. Do you mean like something that some people would love, but you shouldn't be scared of, but you are? There's feelings, there's times when I feel uneasy.
Yeah.
Like when I'm driving past a set of, what is it when you're driving? And it's not a pelican crossing, it's a crossing, but with
pedestrian
traffic
crossing.
lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always have a fear that someone's just going to walk out and I'm going to squash them.
Right.
So there's that, and there's that fear of when you know there's a sneeze coming on, you're doing 70 miles an hour down the motorway and you're kind of going, I'm going to lose control of this in a minute.
So it's the losing control
It's
thing.
adrenaline.
Right.
Yeah, losing control. In fact, everything about me is control, really.
Yeah.
That thing of, I've never been able to do a bungee jump because it's that thing of just letting go of everything. I can't think of something, one thing that I'm scared of.
That's good. That's really
good. That was a long answer, wasn't it?
No, I like it. I could picture it.
Edit
I'd
it.
be scared. Edit it.
Edit it. Just get to the... I used to think I had quite a normal upbringing.
You didn't.
Right, and someone was talking
Your
about the
mother
cat.
once told you not to go to school because it was windy, Carl. It was not a normal upbringing.
The cat was being sick, so she shaved it, so it was easier to clean.
Right, well, my mum and dad went on holiday, right, and I stayed at the Rosses down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Only a kid, must have been about 5 or something, right? And I was always running around in the house. I had a lot of energy as a kid. What the Rosses did, they had this cat that was dead violent, the most violent sort of angry cat I have ever witnessed.
A tiger.
It was, honestly, Steve, if it was bigger, it would have been, because it was just always having a go at you.
Yeah.
If you went to pat it on the head, it went to bite you and stuff. And what they used to do with it, to stop me running around, I'd sort of be running around, and then I'd get a bit tired, and they'd say, have a lie down on the settee. So I'd lie down on the settee and I'd nod off. And what they used to do, I'd wake up, and they'd have put the cat on my belly. Right? So I'd be scared to move because it's like it's going to get me.
But it would keep you there.
It kept me there, and it used to sort of slaver on me, and they'd sort of, go out or whatever, and I'd be lying there,
That's not normal, is it?
Carl, sorry, were you created by the Brothers Grimm for one of their fairy tales? What kind of a life is that?
A cat paperweight to keep Karl in place. He keeps blowing around. It's windy. We'll have to weigh him down. Be careful. Your mum probably told him that it's a windy day. You got to get something heavy on him. Otherwise, he just gets blown into the road. God.
Karl Pilkington is the man we'd love to see in Ireland at some point.
All right.
Because
I'll try and sort that out.
You and God are very popular in Ireland.
All right then.
Thanks very much, man.
Look after yourself.
You too.
Ta-da. See ya.
There he goes. That's Karl Pilkington.
Now, when we were talking to Karl in the week, the thing we're talking to Karl is that you come up with something that's sort of like quite innocent, and he goes, well, once, right? And you realise that it's comedy dynamite. Yeah. He doesn't know it, but we want to go save it. And he let out, you were filling in a form, weren't you? It was all about your girlfriend thinking you were a div. And it's happened before, isn't it? Because she came home and you'd filled out a form to get a job once, hadn't you?
Yeah.
What was that for?
Granada Telly.
And on it...
Well, let Karl explain.
Yeah.
You see, this is what annoys me with job applications, because rather than just saying, do you want the job and what can you bring to this business?
Yeah. Do you want the job is a good one.
Because the thing is...
That's sort of the one for the boys.
No, listen, right?
Because if they say no, I don't think they want the job.
Yeah, but listen.
Go on.
I mean, I presume with what you do, you have to take people on and stuff.
What, in a fight, you mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's more important that you're willing to graft and put the hours in.
Sure.
Than say that, you know, you did well at school.
Yes.
Sure.
Because if I wanted to, I could have done well at school.
Of course.
I just didn't want to.
Yeah. So where's this going? So you had the application form.
So when it came to the qualifications bit and that, I couldn't fill them in because I didn't have my qualifications. And it was also asking about your languages. And I put down English quite good.
English quite good.
And his girlfriend came over and seen the form that he'd sent off, and this was a copy of it.
Yeah.
And so she went, oh, you know what I mean? So that's what started, you know, the disappointment.
So they're going to get that and think that you're not English.
I don't think I've got it. It was ages ago.
Right.
How long ago was it?
Oh, well, it was when I was still in Manchester, so 5 years ago.
I don't think you got it, no. No, I think you'd...
There could be a long list.
I mean, there's probably a lot of admin problems in that organisation, but they probably...
But what I meant by it is that, you know, I can speak English, but I don't know all these long words that people use all the time.
Yeah.
Oh! God, can I just tell this quickly? In the week, I'm talking to you now, the listener. Usually I don't.
Yeah.
Karl said, about embarrassing him on air and that, and he's worried about his education, and he was worried about not knowing long words. Like, we come up with any long words. And he said, and I was scared, you were going to ask me something about, someone, and he's, Eastern European leader. His surname is Milosevic. And Karl said, so I learnt it this week, and learnt it so you can't catch me out in case you start. I said, what? And he said, he thought about it, and he went, Flobodan Milosevic.
Got the surname right, though, didn't he?
So what's his name?
Right?
What's his name?
That's how Bill and Ben would address this leader.
How would they have said it?
Flobodan Milosevic.
What's his name?
Slobodan
Milosevic. Yeah.
Well done. Anyway, Karl, look, you almost let it slip then as you were talking about your filling out that application form. There's some big news that everyone needs to know, which we were stunned by in the week, although the more we sort of talk to you, the more it starts to fall into place.
Yeah.
But Karl, what's the story?
That I haven't got me exam results from the GCSEs.
He never turned up to get his exam results.
I was working.
And so, how many did you take in the end? Because you weren't even sure about that, were you? You think you took maths and English, don't you?
Yeah.
And you think you've handed in the artwork for art, don't you?
Now, art was continual assessment, wasn't it? Coursework. And what was the that you made?
I made a man sort of putting his arms into a car.
You've made a model of a man putting his arms into a car.
What was this?
So that one's passed.
Was that this a homage to break-ins in Manchester? Was this? What was this? Oh look, he does what he sees.
Yeah.
So
you've got that. That's safe. You definitely got that one.
So you've taken art, you've taken English and maths, you think? So this is what we're going to do, listeners. We're going to try and find out his exam results for him and tell him next week.
Live on air.
We're going to call his school, we're going to try and track him down, and we are going to have a little envelope, and we are going to give Karl, at the age of 29, his O-level results. GCSEs, yeah.
Now, Karl, so you took maths, you think, you took English, do you remember turning up to do those? Do you remember sitting in the room filling in the forms?
Yeah.
Okay, and how did you feel you did?
I don't think I did well.
You don't think you did well? Did you revise?
No.
Why didn't you revise?
Because I don't really believe in it.
Okay.
Well, it's just that if you don't know it, then you don't know it. You shouldn't have to start looking in the book. If I went to like the hospital,
Yeah.
and the doctor said, "Oh, you need your appendix out," but hang on a minute, I've just got to read up on it.
Yeah.
That isn't good enough.
Okay.
He should know, and that's the way I feel about it.
To be fair, though,
He did do the revision beforehand.
yeah, they don't usually pass on, like, maybe, like, when they're in practice.
Yeah,
7 years
information
down
they
the
took in
line.
by osmosis.
Yeah, yeah, and bloke comes in and goes, "Can I just see what you did with that?" And I goes, "You've passed."
Yeah.
Phew, that's a good one. Yeah.
Good job I watched Casualty.
I just like the way, the things that interest me, I remember. Things like snakes not having ears and stuff.
Yes.
I didn't have to read about that.
No, you just learnt that, yeah.
You saw it on the telly, didn't you? You saw it on that Ian Wright programme.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what Carl said to me. He said, it's actually, I called Carl up in the week, and Reese was with him. You know, Reese used to be on XFM, and he took the phone, and he went, "Carl's worried, I've seen that programme." He said, "Snakes don't have ears, right?" He said, "So you can creep up on them and pick them up." And he said, "Carl's worried." He said, "How do you ever put them down again?" Because then they know that you're there.
I woke up the other night quite late,
Worried about that.
and I said to my girlfriend, I said, "How do you put a snake down?" And she said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "That Ian Wright thing, this guy managed to pick up a snake. And do you know that thing where they clamp its head on a jar to get the poison out?"
I do now.
Right? They did that, but they didn't show you how they got rid of it, and I thought, it could really get nasty, because it's obviously annoyed that you've had its head pressed in the jar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
They hate that.
Now,
Especially as it's in front of their mates.
when you lift it off,
Yeah.
right, you've got hold of it.
Yeah.
If you go to chuck it down, it's going to turn on you.
It's going to go wild, isn't it?
So, I just wondered.
Well, what you do is you never put it down, Carl.
Yeah, that's why
That's what
that
happens.
bloke has got about 11 or 12 just carrying him.
Exactly.
Yeah, you never put it down. You sling it. Who cares?
You just throw it, don't you, really far.
That's not that. I don't think you should throw.
But
snakes.
Carl, listen, don't worry. We're not asking you to get involved with snakes. We're just asking you now. You did.
But actually, people don't talk about that. Like, I was listening to something where you were saying, why is the alphabet in the order that it's in?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not actually a question that I've ever heard someone ask before, but actually it's such a glaringly obvious question.
Well, it seemed like such an important thing at school. Like, they're telling you to know this thing in this order. And it's like, well, before you tell me what order it's in, sometimes if you know why it's in that order, it helps you remember it.
Yeah.
So why have we started with A? Who's decided? And the teacher was just like, just learn it. And I get it, honestly, I do get it. When you've got a classroom of 35 kids and then someone's going, why is it in that order? I get now. I look back on that and go, I get why she got annoyed with me. But at the time, it's a question.
But equally,
If
she
you can't
didn't
ask a
answer
question,
it.
She didn't answer it. And probably because she didn't know, and I still don't know.
I
all these years
don't
on.
still know, and I would really quite like to find out
And
that
it doesn't.
answer.
But the interesting thing is, now with technology, you don't need that order anymore, do you? Because you just search,
Trying to play
and
it.
you type it in, whatever you want, and it finds it. You don't go.
But
I wonder if
you were
that's
that
what-
way inclined as a kid. Like
What,
being-
questioning?
yeah, just questioning things.
Yeah, but still now, and Suzanne, my girlfriend, has always said that is why you're a bit daft, because you're not learning what they're trying to teach you. You're questioning what they're trying to teach you, and sometimes you shouldn't do that. You should just listen and take the information and learn what they're telling you. Why are you constantly going, why? But I asked her why, because I think it would help me.
Yeah, help you digest it. If you understand how you've got there,
Yes,
then you'll
that's
learn
it.
it. But do you think because everything is so accessible to us that we perhaps don't use our brains to retrieve things like information? So actually our brains have become potentially more redundant to have moments of just
They are redundant.
talking to ourselves.
I don't know if we've just gone off the rails with what life's about and how working stuff out and learning by your mistakes. You need, obviously there's serious things like don't lick the brown live wire. That isn't something you can learn,
That's not a test and learn, that
but
one.
Just everything else, especially because the world changes. So the world, from an old person's perspective, is different anyway, because they've lived there and been through a lot and things were different for them. So you just learn as you go along. And I just wonder how much of that is still allowed, or how much is being so controlled by mums and dads of don't let them see that, that'll upset them. You need to be upset. That's part of life. And you learn how to get over those problems by having to face them. If you're not dropped in them, it doesn't mean they're not there.
Yeah.
It's a weird. Is this meant to be like a
yeah? I was going to say
light-hearted chat.
It can be whatever you want it to be, Carl.
I was just engrossed there. I was really like.
And I do struggle putting into words what my brain's trying to say, but
in a way, you've applied those learnings to sick of it.
Yeah, I have. And the confusion, and there'll be some people going, I don't know what he's going on about. Some people will say, I haven't got a voice in my head. And maybe they haven't, maybe mine's a bit louder. But what the beauty of today is, everything's on demand, isn't it? So when you put a programme out, it's kind of there forever. And hopefully the people who get it will, when I say get it, that's not being sort of snobby, going, oh, if you don't like it, then you don't get it. You might not like it, but the people who sort of go, I'm like that, I can relate to what's going on there. It's nice in this day and age that it isn't just on a Thursday night and then it's gone. This stuff hangs around forever, and I think that's the other reason when I was saying to you about, I'm not that interested in funny stuff. I think funny stuff dates. You know what I mean? You watch some funny stuff from the 70s and you go, Jesus, this isn't funny. Whereas I think problems in the brain are similar as time goes.
Yeah, whenever it's timeless. Yeah.
So it is a bit more timeless, and we're living more in a timeless time where stuff is around for longer. So I think relatability and all that.
Carl's got his first little direct debit, haven't you? £5 a week or something, £5 a month.
Yeah, I've joined something to help Africa out. Mm-hmm. I quizzed her for a bit. I mean, she came over and she was saying...
He was talking to her for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Just making sure your money was going to the right place.
Yeah, I was saying, why have I got to give you my bank details? This is the thing. And I was saying to her, I'm sure you'd make more money, right, if you just had a little thing that you put money in. I said, I want to help you out, right, but it's the fact I've got to give you bank details. And she's saying, no, this is the way we guarantee we make money. We can help places out, because we could be out all day and we could only earn like 50p, whereas, we know that it's worth us standing around.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fair enough. I said, so what's my money going to be doing then? And I think it's called care of the world or something.
Yeah.
And she's saying we're giving them money to buy hammers, and we're not just going to give them money to blow in and stuff. They've got to like work and
they don't give them money.
Well,
what did you think of these people? Just like and these drought planes. Like
it's a gift voucher for being you, so they have to buy a hammer.
No,
they go with the buckets and go, oi, and they throw it up and they go, bundle!
Yeah. She was making out anyway, right? That she was nice enough, she was selling it to me. She said, we give them the tools and they feel good because they're building up their own place and everything. And so fair enough, right? And now I've done that for 2 months. They've had a tenner off me already. I'm checking it, making sure they're not ripping me off and that.
Yeah.
If I ever go to Africa and I need a hammer, and there isn't one, I'll be livid.
You'll be livid.
Because, it is a lot of money.
Sure.
Every month, £5.
Yeah.
And, you're talking about people hassling you and that in the street. I actually moved flat. The last flat I lived in, I moved from there because of the hassle. It was a high street, and you couldn't, like you were saying, you'd nip out for a loaf and spend about 40 quid.
Yeah.
just on people saying, give us the money for this. Samaritans, tramps, heart attacks, old people, whatever. It's like... So it ended up pushing me off that street. It was I can't handle this.
It's getting crazy out there. They may as well have little stalls.
Yeah.
Hey, but listen, let's make the world a better place with a little bit of music.
Oh, thanks
bit of
very much.
Bauhaus.
If you'd like Carl to humiliate himself for money, email in.
Well, Suzanne was surprised that I was like, last night I told her about it. And I said,
why did you do that? I don't know what I feel now. That's not good. I don't know, that's not good, is it?
And she just said, well, you don't like chucking money away and that. And it was funny because we got talking about when we bought our first flat in Manchester, right? I bought a bed, right? I didn't have much money. And what annoyed me is I bought the bed and it turned up. And I said, where's the mattress? And they said, well, you don't get a mattress with the bed, you've got to buy that separately. And I was like, well, that's not a bed then, right? So I didn't have any more money. Suzanne's at work, so I thought, well, I don't want to stress her out at work and that, telling her we haven't got a mattress for the bed. I had a word with my dad, right? He knew a mate who had one in the back of a van, right? He said, I'll have a word with him, he'll let you have it. Got the van, brought it round, stunk of diesel and that, but I thought, well, it's free, it'll do.
Yeah.
They brought it up, I stuck it in the spare room. Suzanne got home, she looked at the bed, she said, that looks alright. She said, where's the mattress? I said, it's in the next room, but I thought I won't tell her because she won't like the idea. She went in, just the room stunk of like petrol fumes and that. She said, what's going on? I said, well, it's a mattress didn't come with a bed. So I've sorted you one out, I've got this off my dad. And we didn't have one night on it. She said, get rid of it.
Yeah.
I had to go and ditch it.
I don't know what she was thinking. One of your father's friends is driving around in a van with a mattress in the back.
Yeah. Was he a serial killer?
I mean... And she didn't want to sleep on it.
Like some Silence of the Lamb.
What kind of a cheapskate is she? What kind of a woman is she? That she won't sleep on a mattress that has been in the back of a transit van.
Yeah, covered in petrol, diesel, probably urine, and Christ knows what else. Yeah. Oh.
So, you know...
Carl had to leave early last week, but you stay to the end this week, mate, or...
Yeah.
You don't need another holiday.
Oh, he's started already.
I mean,
Steve's made you look like a bit of a twat already, and it's only 1:05.
But the only reason you don't go on holiday is because you have to spend money.
Oh, and he's gone straight back.
Well,
he's gone straight back.
I can't come back to that.
Oh,
it's just dynamite. It's just absolute. That was.
Although the last holiday Steve had, he sort of found a third world country so he could live like a king for a week. It was Cuba, wasn't it?
Going to Cuba, amazing. We can almost rule the place. If it weren't for Castro, I'd have been in charge. Kind of cash I was flashing around. They do anything for $1 over there. It's extraordinary, literally. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh.
Definitely, and I went to Kenya before that.
So he thought to the prostitute, said no. You were going...
Yeah, well, it was $2. I mean, I'm not made of money.
Did you have a good holiday, Carl?
Yeah, it was alright. It's alright. Went down to Cornwall.
Now, you were going to the monkey
some odd
sanctuary.
people down there, Steve.
Well, don't look at me, I'm not from Cornwall.
Well, you're from that sort of area.
Well, not really, but never
Genetically, he means.
Right.
They're weird.
Well, you must have slotted right in.
What are they weird? What do they look like?
It's all sort of odd people. A lot of old people, but not just old, sort of messed up old.
What do you mean messed up old? You can't just say that.
There's a woman with a funny neck.
Okay, in what way was it funny?
Why did she have a funny neck? If you were writing an essay, you wouldn't say there was this woman with a funny neck. How would you describe it?
She sort of had her head, like, pointed down all the time. Like
Don't do it, it's his radio.
No, but just for you, I don't like that.
Yeah.
About
yeah. Okay, right. So, brilliant.
I don't know. I was saying to Suzanne, what happened, you know. What do you think?
Because Suzanne knows everything. That's the good thing about her being with you. You just ask her, what happened to her? And Suzanne goes, Carl, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't been here before.
Suzanne, your girlfriend, or mummy as you call her.
Oh, sparks are flying.
Yeah. I got a little bit of chocolate. Can you just lick a tissue and wipe it off?
Oh.
No, she said it might have been like, because back in the olden days, they carried stuff on the...
The olden days?
What do you mean the olden days?
This woman was probably, what, 50?
No, she looked about 70.
Yeah.
But like I do on Cheeky Freak of the Week, right, I always turn it round and we get, like, something good out of it.
Something positive, yeah.
I said to Suzanne, I bet she finds a lot of money.
Sure.
Yeah!
Always staring at the ground, yeah.
Oh, dear.
It was always good.
So,
maybe she just had new shoes and she was admiring them.
It's not listening, but I am listening. It's just that for some reason it just doesn't go in. And I don't know. I think if I had some tests, they'd probably say, oh, you've got this and that and the other. But I can't be bothered having the tests because they can't change me. And I don't want to. It's too late. They could probably stick me on some pills and say, oh, do you seem calmer now? Well, he's like, well, I do, but the pill's doing that. And where have I gone?
Exactly.
So, listening, and the other thing is, and this is because I don't really listen, because my brain's a mess, sort of shouting. I get frustrated because I can't put into words what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. And
then I feel no one's listening to me. So that I feel the only time they listen to me is when I sort of raise my voice.
Okay, yeah.
And it never gets above that. I'm not violent or anything, but I have to sort of shout because it's the only time people sort of turn and sort of go, oh, hang on.
What's he
He's
saying?
not happy.
Yeah, yeah.
But I hate it because it takes a lot of energy to shout. And then you don't always get your point across clearly, and then you have to apologise. And luckily, I work with people who know what I'm like and work with me long enough, and they know it happens now and again. And I don't go mental. I'm not throwing stuff about, but I just get so frustrated that I go, oh, here's a shouty bit. I can feel it coming on.
Yeah.
But I go, I'm doing it because you're all just not listening to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm trying to say something. No one's listening.
Has that been a life frustration for you? Because if you take that back with the whole listening thing, with the pop, the freeze pop, and they were going, you weren't listening. It's like full circle, isn't it?
All from that. It's a brain thing, isn't it? I don't think Stephen Fry has to shout because he knows what words to explain what he's trying to get across.
As a person sat here the other side of this cup of tea, I haven't thought once that you couldn't put anything into eloquently. I think that's one of your actual best qualities.
Well, yeah, it's weird. I don't feel... It's bad then, isn't it? Because I feel like I'm not, which isn't good. I wish it should be the other way around. I'd prefer it if I thought I could and everybody else thought I couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's me who's got to put up with the
Forget
stress
those
in my head.
reviews, I'm great.
Yeah, I know. But I think it's a confidence thing, and I think I know that from a young age. I was never confident. My head teacher at the time said I'd never be a high flyer, and my mum and dad took that, and they believe that, which I like. I also think that gave me a lot of freedom because no one expected anything from me. Because it's just like, oh, he's the thick kid. So that's like all the chains are off because, it's not like this kid is a genius. I feel sorry for those kids more than me, to be honest, when people go, this is a genius, put him into all sorts of special schools and that. It's like, hang on, what about him? What about the person?
Exactly.
What do they want?
Yeah, right.
I give a lot of stuff to charity. A lot. Most of the time, just because it's nearer than the wheelie bin is. It's just a way of getting rid of garbage most of the time with me. Stick it all in a bin bag, good stuff on the top, the stuff that you're embarrassed about, stick it in the bottom of the bag.
What are you embarrassed about?
Just old shoes, trainers.
Some of the books you've written.
Socks, underpants.
Underpants? You do not give underpants to charity.
Washed.
But who's gonna... Washed, I know, as opposed to just like peeling them off.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why you've got a problem with underpants, but shoes. You see, I've never bought shoes.
Underpants from a charity shop, though? I mean, I don't care how low you are on the socio-economic level.
I know.
You can get about 14 pairs for £1 in some places.
I know. I don't know who's buying underpants. I don't know who's buying your underpants. I definitely don't know.
I mean, if they were signed.
Yeah.
That is something I like doing, though. When I've given to charity, I like going past the shop and seeing if it made it in the window.
Any success?
Yeah, recently, the one not far from here had me egg cups in the window. So it's like, oh, look, there's...
What, you've got a new set of egg cups, so you've got rid of your old ones?
Yeah.
I don't think we've got any egg cups.
Haven't you?
No,
Why
I don't
not?
think so. I don't
have boiled eggs?
I can't imagine you... It would take... You'd be too impatient to boil an egg, Rick.
Well, yeah, I just... It's just those things you think of never buying, like, egg cups, a whisk...
No, but you do eventually.
I suppose you got to, haven't you? Yeah. It's things that were just always there when you grow up, isn't it? That you have to go and you think, but not second hand though.
But there's nothing wrong. Honestly, it's hardly. It's made the window space. That's how good it was. It had hardly been used, that egg cup, because it was a doubler, and I think they were quite small for the egg size that I get. I think they were made more for the small egg, and I have the large egg.
Right.
So it was never really
just
used.
like your underpants.
But have you ever been a charity shopper, Rick?
Yeah. What I used to do a lot of was records and tapes and things like that. But it ended up sort of being ironic. It really ended up like getting, something like Shane Rich's greatest hits.
Yeah.
And things like that.
A bit of a dilemma that my Auntie Nora had. She likes charity shops as well. She's got a neighbour. Went out to Graceland's, big Elvis fan. They came back. She said, "How was Graceland's?" They said, "Oh, it was brilliant. Best holiday we've ever had. Probably go back again. We've got a gift for you." Right? They get out this clock, like a little sort of. It's like a Swiss. Do you know the Swiss sort of? Looks
cuckoo
like a little
clock.
house, like a cuckoo clock. But on the hour, little Elvis comes out the top and goes, Right. So she went, "Oh, cheers." She's not really into Elvis. She's more into Jim Reeves and Glenn Campbell and stuff. Yeah. But what can you say? She said, "Oh, thanks for that." She put it in, took it in the house.
Maybe they could get attachments. Maybe you get a little Jim Reeves to pop on the spring. Change it anything you like So Solid Crew. You can get a little So Solid Crew, and that pops out, or whoever.
So anyway, it's in the house. She's thinking, "I'm not going to put that up. It's not her sort of thing." So thinks, give it to charity. Of course. She goes down to the charity shop, gives them that, thinks nothing of it, goes off to the pub for afternoon drink. Anyway, next day she's going out for afternoon drink again. passes the charity shop. It's in the window.
Ooh. And the chances are her friends are going to pass by.
That was a dilemma.
Of course.
She had to buy it back.
That's brilliant. A hugely inflated price.
Oh, do you know the quotes that Ricky gave me last week and I turned them down?
Yeah.
I got home, girlfriend had a go at me.
They don't know you turned him down. What you know is that he said he didn't want to take the book at the end of the show, he said, I'm not taking it, it's too difficult. I'm gonna go and get a nice one, and go on, carry on.
So I went home, and Suzanne said, where's the book? She was really looking forward to having a look at it. I said, I gave it him back, I wasn't up for that. And yet, last week I was ill and stuff, I wasn't in the mood for learning.
Yeah.
So I'm not having it. She goes, this is where you went wrong at school.
Oh.
She said, this is exactly where you went wrong. She said, you know, you liked infants, you liked, you know, your colouring in and your painting stuff. She said, but as soon as it gets to the heavy stuff, you just, you know, you're like a horse with its blinkers on.
Yeah.
So you shut yourself away. So I said, no, I could have done it if I wanted to. So anyway, we went and bought a quotations book, so I have got some quotes.
Yeah, what's the quotation book you bought? So I was asking him to, read Keats and Wilde, Wordsworth, Shakespeare. What did you buy?
It's quotes with, like, Eric and Ernie and that in it. That's what I've done.
Go on,
I've used an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And put it with today's problems, right?
Go on.
So, like, my girlfriend, yeah? She might like to go shopping for clothes. I hate it.
Right.
But because I love her, I put up with it.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you love that little kitten. You can't stand the smell of the stuff you gotta feed it. But because you love it, you go, well, you know, I'll put up with this just for a few minutes, and then I can, like, squeeze its head later and give it a little...
So, holiday, where did you go on holiday?
Sardinia.
Good?
Yeah, it's alright, yeah. Nice food and that, it's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
And nice beaches and what have you.
Excellent.
Always like a nice long beach to walk down.
Yeah.
But, so we're having a nice walk, right? You know, nudists do me head in.
Sure.
Right.
Not a problem though, is it? It's not like being scared of spiders where they might jump out under the kitchen sink at you. You know what I mean? It's not a big problem having your head done in by nudists.
Yeah, but it just annoys me. It sort of ruins the day a little bit. Because it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Right. Take your clothes off if you feel uncomfortable. It's much more relaxing.
Yeah, but... Well, anyway, right, so I'm walking along the beach, right? Lovely long beach, what have you, you know, watching the sea, picking up shells and that.
And what are you wearing? What's your natural beach club?
When he says picking up shells, I imagine he's on all fours going, yeah. Like that, you know what I mean, looking at things. Just like washing his nuts in the sea to get them tasty.
Yeah, going into the sea and then kind of shaking himself and all the water flies off.
Yeah.
I've just got, you know, flip-flops on, pair of shorts, and like a little light shirt.
Sure.
Mm.
So anyway, walking along, and Suzanne goes, oh look, right, and there's this woman, German I think, coming out of the...
How can you tell she was German? Underarm hair?
I'll get to it. Forget the underarm hair. She came out, it looked like she was smuggling seaweed.
I'm going to burst! Oh, God!
And the funny thing is, right, she,
smuggling seaweed! Oh, God! She was a bit hairy down there, was she?
Mental. I felt bad because I hadn't had a shave for 2 days, right? Looked at her, it was ridiculous. She might as well have kept her trunks on. It was just like she was wearing furry trunks, right? So anyway, so I'm walking around. So,
yeah, go on then.
So Suzanne's like, oh look, and I'm like, oh, not again, you know, because every time we go away, there always seems to be one of these.
Is she by herself, this woman?
Well, the weird thing was, she was with her husband, right,
yeah.
But he had shorts on, he was happy, right, but every time, like, because I walked past her, and he sort of ran off, because he's embarrassed. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing normal about it. What can he do? He can't go, alright mate, because he knows it's odd, right?
How old was he? Sorry, how old was she?
It's hard to tell when someone hasn't got clothes on. Sure. You know what I mean? They always look older, don't they, when they haven't got clothes on anyway, but I'd say she was about 40, 41.
Okay. Right.
So yeah, so I walked past, and the annoying thing is, she got there on a bike, right? No clothes on, little pair of boots next to the bike. So if you can wear boots, just pop some shorts on. Do you know what I mean? That takes more effort for me, putting boots on. So put the shorts on, right? So anyway, so the husband kept running off.
I walked past, and I'm getting annoyed because I'm saying, well, we've got to walk past them again on the way back.
I like the fact that they're scuttling away when Carl walks past. Like when you lift up a bit of sort of iron sheeting in the woods and loads of mice run away. Yeah. It's like whenever Carl goes, that nudists run away. Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
So we sort of come walking back and what have you, and you know, I have another look and what have you, and he runs off again.
Why are you another look if it offends you so much?
Oh, you might as well just have a look. You know what I mean? It's just putting it on show and what have you. But the interesting thing was that I just wondered whether the husband...
If the husband were nude, you'd looked at his tackle. Because remember, when you went to see those two strippers and it was a woman and a man, and they whipped their shorts off, you said you looked at his tackle first.
I think any bloke would.
Wow.
You would. You just check it out. It's natural, isn't it? You just go, oh, right. So it is normal or whatever. Because you don't know if... you know what I mean? You don't know if what you've got's right until you see someone else's. No, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so, but he got us talking, because I was... Then, as soon as I saw her, sort of, today's been ruined a bit, so I'm walking up the beach...
It's been ruined!
Walking up the beach with Suzanne going, how does it happen? Do you know what I mean? Why do people do this? What fun are they getting out of it, and what have you? And, I just was thinking, is there any chance that fella, right, didn't even know that she was a nudist until they went away? Do you know what I mean? Because I said to Suzanne, say if I met Suzanne, it's like we're getting on, yeah, everything's fine. Yeah. And then you go off on holiday and you go, you haven't got much luggage. And she's like, no, it's fine, this is plenty, and I'm thinking that's weird. And then we go down the beach and she whips her knickers off. I'd be annoyed, but there's nothing I could do. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I'm just wondering whether that's what happened to this fella. Every time someone came walking up, he was like, oh, God, this is embarrassing. And he kept nipping off.
Yeah.
Finding something else to do.
Look at some shells.
So I'm wondering, Rick, if at some point, maybe today or in future shows, we should get a nudist. You know, one of those official nudist spokespeople. You know, because all these nudist organisations, get them on the phone, justify themselves to Karl, because, you know, in his mind, they are, what would you say, weirdos, freaks?
I don't quite get it. I was reading something in one of the supplements last weekend, and some journalist went round to some, whatever you call it, some resort or whatever for nudes and that. And it's
Were
just...
they playing volleyball?
Well, the annoying thing was, bowls.
Why is that annoying?
Well, don't play a sport where you got to bend over. See, what's annoying me is, I've sent money to Cambodia, because apparently they're hungry. I haven't got any energy. So what's going on?
Well, it's much easier to fill up a midget than it is a regular Cambodian. You know, they're
I just
happy
feel
on
like
a Mars bar.
I'm being cheated a bit.
You were conned before with a charity, weren't you?
Well, a few times, yeah.
What about the old lady? What was that?
I got stopped, and it's like, they sort of drag you in by saying, have you got a gran? And I said, no, they died and that. It's like, oh, did they die of the cold? No, she's, you know, ill, what have you, just old age. He said, well, what happens with a lot of people's grans is they die in the cold, right? So I was like, oh, that's bad, isn't it? Anyway, so she's chatting, and she's showing me pictures of these old women who look cold, right? Saying, look at her, that's Edna. You know, she's got no family, she can't pay the bills and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, yeah. Anyway, it goes on for about 15 minutes, and you feel bad. You give them your bank details, right? And what happens is, every couple of months, you get a letter from Edna. Well, it's not from her, it's typed up and what have you. But there's a picture of Edna, right, and it's saying, oh, this December, you know, Edna's going to be extra cold. It's cold outside, she can't afford to pay the heat and what have you.
Yeah.
Keep going, right, so you keep paying every month like £5 or whatever. Get another letter, a few months later, right, Edna's sat there, she's got a tan.
What do you mean she's got a tan?
Well, when they said, you know, she's cold, I thought they meant for the heating, not to send her on holiday for a month. She sat there with a tan, I'm not joking.
Are you sure it wasn't just a sort of a slight problem in the printing?
No, definitely.
Sure, she looked
well happy.
Sure, it wasn't liver failure.
This is a terrible thing to say, but when I see those people approaching now with the clipboards on the street, I always get my mobile phone out and pretend to have a conversation.
I've done that one.
The number of fake conversations I've had walking past them now.
Well, I felt sorry for them, right? Because I thought, you know, to be fair, I've got about 10 standing orders where I felt sorry from a court. Right, I thought they're doing a good deed. The least I can do. I find out they're on about £8 an hour.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're not just doing it out of the kindness of their hearts.
Well, I don't want to.
I thought they were volunteers. I thought that was at least why I should feel guilty. If they're getting paid to do it,
I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think they do.
What?
I've heard they get paid and that.
Well, if someone knows, maybe email us.
podcast@rickygervais.com is how you can get in touch with us. If you know if these guys are getting fleecing us twice.
You know, I heard something. Carl thinks they are. You think they're not?
I don't know anything, but anything that will allow me.
But
to
let's
not feel
find
guilty.
out, because you know, I don't want to slag them off, because they're obviously doing a good thing. So we find this out. It's, you know, this is an educational show.
I tell you what, though, right? Because we've talked about homeless people before and that. And I walked past one the other day. He's always cheerful, right? But don't you think, right? If you had a company, it's worth taking them on, because they never have a lie in.
Brilliant.
I'm finding it quite exhausting now, because a lot of the homeless I've encountered recently, they don't even now, they're not even after my money. They're just looking for conversation. While I was walking along the other day, and I don't know what you're supposed to say to this, we were both walking, happened to be both passing a Chinese restaurant. He glanced in, he looked back around at me, he went, woman in there with 3 phones, 3 mobile phones, why does she need 3 mobile phones? Got nothing to say to that, got no opinion. Got absolutely no opinion of it. And I was thinking, what's going to have, you know, and you know that thing when you sort of, suddenly you got across the road conveniently to just get out of it. But, and there was another mad woman who started going, she was walking past me, she went, do you want to come to my church? I went, no, I don't believe in God. She went, do you believe in God? Oh, 20 minutes. Conversation, 20 minutes. It was unbelievable. I got to a point where I was so angry with her, I was shouting at her from across the other side of the room. I was the one who sounded like a nutter, going, there isn't a God! But
you see, when does it become, like, bad to avoid people like that? Do you know what I mean? Because some people say you shouldn't, you know, that they're people like us who've just had a bit of bad luck.
Well, of course they are.
Yeah, I know, but I remember one on our estate, right? And she was a bit, what's the word that you can use? Because I don't want to offend anyone. But I'd say, yeah, but sort of mental homeless. Is that a term?
That's the official term.
I think that is the
new official term. It's mental homeless-itis.
Right, so she lived on the estate and what have you, and she aged.
How was she homeless if she lived on the estate?
Well, she sort of decided to stay around there because I think people on the estate spoke to her more than people who had money. Do you know what I mean?
Really? I was going to say, why would she choose an estate to not to live in, as opposed to like a walled sort of lovely community?
Yeah.
Why not go to St John's Wood or?
Yeah, or I'd hang around in maybe, say, the Maze in Hampton Court.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
Yeah. No one's expecting to see a homeless person as they're trying to find their way around. Well, imagine the cash you'd make during the summer.
The rich sort of Victorians used to keep sort of homeless in there as a little folly, and they used to pay them at the end if they stayed there for like 3 years.
What do you mean? Would they pay?
It was fashionable to have a little homeless little hobbit in your outhouse. Seriously.
And what did they have to do anything for the money? Run, dance,
no, they just had to
tigers?
be there. No, they had to be there when they brought around. They go, look, that's our little cat weasel fella living in our folly.
Yeah.
And then they got money, you know, at the end of it. There's just like really rich sort of Victorians and stuff.
That's a great idea. They should definitely bring that back. Because, you see, I would give a lot more to shelter and those kind of charities if I could have a homeless guy and do my bidding. I could make him dance.
And they had a really long beard and rags.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I could just make them do dances for me, or, you know...
And he was somewhat magical, possibly. That would go, riddle-me-dee, fiddle-me-doo, what is my name and who are you?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then,
But anyway, so this mental
There's a little idea for shelter if anyone's listening.
Yeah. Mental homeless woman on the estate. And what she used to do... Right, she acted quite normal, and she used to always push like a pram around with her, right? And everyone was like, she can't have a kid, can she? Right? And she was dead happy every day. She was up and down, walking up and down the road. Anyway, one day she sort of walked past, right? Turned round and looked in the pram. There was a bucket with a face on it. What are we going to talk about now? Sort of head's gone now.
Your head's gone.
Monkey news.
Yeah.
Why is your brain? Why is it? It seems like since we've come back on air, you have become dimmer. I mean, it is extraordinary. It's like BSC has kicked in.
Or did we just forget? We just forgot.
Maybe it's been a long time. We've forgotten just how stupid he is.
Yeah,
it's proper. Do you mean it's the silences? You know, he forgets we're on the radio. There's just
I know,
dead air.
it's unbelievable, and it's our name on this. They put up but as I said before, you know, he is no offence, he's not a bright lad or educated or anything like that. But some things he says does border on the retarded.
I've been trying to take in too much information though. That's the problem recently. Well, I said to you last week, I've been like reading more books and what have you, and trying to take in too much. But the problem is, like even watching telly and that now, Suzanne said to me, you know, stop doing that. Stop watching telly late at night and going to bed, because it's making your brain too active. And I'm sort of...
Heaven forbid.
And, you know, I'm trying to get to sleep and I can't, and then when I wake up, she had a go at me the other day, right? Because it was the night after watching The Fat Baby, right? Woke up in the morning, and she had a go at me because
as soon as I woke up, I said something like, "How can you freeze time?" And she says, "Are you going to say good morning or whatever?"
I'm gonna burst! Just imagine it, right? It's that the sun comes out through the window. Oh, she's Carl's like that, his little head. His eyes open, he goes,
One of those floppy night hats.
"How can you freeze time?" Oh, God!
But it's because, like, whatever, the night before I might have heard that on the news or whatever, and it's just been sort of whizzing round my head.
Sure.
And, you know, it was a big debate. I think have they found a way of doing it or something?
What are you talking about?
They've done something about freezing time and all that.
See, this isn't information, this is nothing. That is nothing, that. They've done something about freezing time. Imagine Jeremy Paxman coming on, going, "Well, the issues tonight said something about freezing time." It's, think before you talk.
No, but I don't worry about how to do it. I just think about what effects that will
Oh,
have.
they haven't asked you to get involved?
Well, this is what I'm saying, though. You can't explain it. It's a tough thing, isn't it? But what's the point of me worrying
It's not
about
a question. Do you know what he said to me the other day? This is unbelievable. This is one of the most stupid, incredible things I've ever heard. He was talking, and he suddenly stopped, and he was thinking about it, and he went, "Oh," I don't know what, he went, "You'd never see a black ghost."
Extraordinary.
True, though, isn't it?
I've never seen a ghost, full stop.
There are no ghosts. There aren't ghosts.
No, but I mean when you just see them in, like, magazines and that.
Play a record!
So, Carl, you were going to a wedding last week. Was it last week or the week before?
No, it was last Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he said, looking forward to it. He went, "No, it's going to be boring." Suzanne was listening, knows that the couple, were taping the show, so she had to get in there before you, didn't she? She went up to him and said, "Look, when you're whisked back to the show and he says it's going to be boring, he didn't mean you, he meant weddings in general." I love the fact she has to run round and clean up after him. It's great, isn't it? How was it?
Do you not like weddings? You're not a fan of them?
They're only good for the people involved, aren't they?
What are you talking about? You're getting free food, free booze, free music?
Yeah, but it's not. It's just all hanging about, and there's loads of people there you don't know.
Absolutely, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to make an effort.
Yeah.
And even the bit that was important, right, when they were getting married, right, there wasn't enough chairs, because it was, you know, all the family gets the chairs, don't they? So I was sort of stood at the back. Stood at the back of that watching, and I couldn't hear what was going on, because a woman was breastfeeding the baby.
Oh!
But what, how loud was this baby? Because no way, you couldn't hear what was going on.
So it was slurping and that, and she was like, I just thought, how hungry is it?
Could it not have waited? Because you've all got to wait for the buffet or whatever later.
I know.
But also just in this.
Well, there was two, wasn't there? Why didn't you?
The only thing that annoys me with weddings is the gift. Is the gift thing. Because, like, you buy these gifts, right? You spend a little bit of money, maybe. You know, I like to be a little bit lavish if I go into a wedding.
Oh.
Well, no, come on. You get a gift, right? You package
You're
it
having a
up.
laugh.
And I don't know about you, Rick, but I like to see the response. When I give a gift to someone, I want to see the feedback from that. You know, this is very much, you know.
I want to see what it is that's Jane bought them on you know, and put my name to it, yeah. Because sometimes I have to, "Oh, thanks for the," I go, "Oh, no worries."
No worries.
No worries. Yeah.
But, you know, certainly, I mean, we've talked about it before, but certainly, you know, it's the amount of money spent and the amount of time given to the gift should be correlated by the amount of the response you get.
Absolutely.
If I give a book token, a shrug is fine. But if I give, you know, a sizable, I want them to be showing it to friends. If it's a bar, I want them to show it to the barman.
You want to go, look what Steve Merchant got me. He's the greatest man in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You go to a wedding, you turn up with a gift, you could have spent, you know, upwards of £15 on it. You turn up, you walk in, you say, "Excuse me, where's the bride and groom? I want to give them this gift." And some bloke, normally the brother-in-law, says, "Oh, no,
the brother-in-law's mate.
Yeah, sorry, they're too busy to see you right now. Just stick the gift on this big table with all the other ones."
Yeah.
And, they'll get back to you...
in a week.
It may be 6 to 8 weeks after the honeymoon, they maybe write you a note. They won't thank you personally, they'll write you a note.
It'll be a general thank you, and your name in different type.
Yeah, but it might have some vague reference to, you know, to what you did, but it won't really be personalised.
Yeah. The set of mugs, again, will be in different type.
Exactly.
Thank you, Steve Merchant, for your wonderful gift. We love mugs. Yeah, yours.
Yeah, exactly. and a photocopied signature.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's not right, is it?
Oh dear.
And also, of course, as well, if there's a baby involved, perhaps they had a kid out of wedlock, and that's why they're getting married. There's normally the little baby signature as well. Like the baby signed it. From Paul and Sharon and little Billy.
Be Ben these days.
Ben.
I reckon. What do you think, Carl? How was the wedding, by the way?
Did you buy a gift?
Suzanne sorted something out.
Yeah. What?
I don't know. Oh, actually, no. We're going away, having a week away with them.
That's your gift.
Yeah. What are you going away? No, we're going away to Cornwall or something, and yeah, that's it. We've sort of paid for a place to stay and coming along and that.
And their gift is to spend a week with you in a confined space.
They'll love it. They'll have a great time and that.
Will they?
Yeah, it's fine.
Can I get a pen? I'm making a note of how many times you say "and that" during today's show, and so far there's 3. I've noticed 3. I'm just gonna make a note because I think we can have a competition here. If you can predict how many times he's going to say "and that," the closest one wins some of the crap DVDs that we've got on offer.
Hold on, tell me we've got a load of 49.
Definitely.
A friend of mine got a gift, or rather gave it as a gift. I don't know if you've been familiar with these. It's a charity organisation, and you go on their website or you phone them up, and you can give someone else the gift of, say, a goat for an African family. So you say, "This is what I've bought. I've bought goat," and they go, "Oh, brilliant! Where is it?" And you go, "No, it's going to a family in Africa." And it's a sort of goodwill thing, you know what I mean?
So you buy an African family a goat.
That will help them for years.
And it's like you're saying, well, I would have bought you a present.
Yeah. But I've used that money wisely.
Yeah, so it's almost like they've given
exactly
the present. They've given the goat.
Yeah, it's a beautiful idea. But as soon as he told me about it, I thought to myself straight away, knowing Carl's views on charity and giving, you know, particularly at this seasonal time, I wondered what his views would be.
Well, are they happy with the present over there? Like the people who are getting it?
What, the African family?
Yeah, is the African family sort of going, "Oh, I hope someone gets us a goat"?
That's nothing to do with Christmas for them. They're not sitting around thinking, "I wonder if Santa brings us some food." It's a long-term thing. These are happening all year, I assume. It goes towards a pool of money that goes to... It's not like they get a... You're an idiot. What, you think an African family wakes up and there's a little goat with a ribbon tied round it, and they go, "Oh, look what Santa brought us."
Look, and that mince pie's gone and that glass of milk.
You're such an idiot.
No, but what I'm saying is, does that family want a goat?
Yes.
But why?
It's not they want a goat, it's they need a goat. Do you think... What do you think this organisation is?
Just arbitrarily giving goats to people.
They're going to say, "Oh, I wanted Nintendo." What are you thinking?
Well, what I'm saying is, right, let me put myself in their shoes. Well,
this will be a first.
Got any, but say I'm one of them, right, over there, right? I'm hungry, right? I'm sat there, it's Christmas Day, right? I open it up, open the present, little goat there, right? Now, if I was one of them, I'd be going, "Not another mouth to feed." At the end of the day, there isn't enough food to go round for themselves, never mind a goat. Don't they say, like, having a dog and that is quite expensive? Sometimes they say, you know, what with all the injections you've got to give it, the food, the tin food and everything, it mounts up. And what I'm saying is, that's all very well giving them a goat. Who's looking after it?
Well, I'm assuming it's all above board. The goat's had its injections. That's what some of the money goes towards. It's given to them so they can milk it and have milk and cheese and whatever. I don't think it's a burden. What is this? What do you mean? They wake up Christmas Day and open a present. It's not like that.
So there's a thing. There's a goat-shaped thing in wrapping paper. I wonder what that could be. I hope it's that goat we asked for. My God, it is.
All I'm saying
it's just a nice marketing way of distributing wealth. It's the way of going, "This is a nice gift." It's like people sometimes they say, "Don't send flowers at a funeral." They don't send flowers. Give some money to the local hospice. Yeah. It's just a way of redirecting cash.
But the thing is, why do they want that goat? What's the main reason? What does a goat give you?
Milk.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be easy to just send them a bottle of milk? Without all the hassle and the headaches that come with it. That's all I'm saying. And the other thing is, think about the goat. That was happy over here. Suddenly, it's on barren land. No grass.
I'm gonna burst! What do you mean?
You didn't send a
goat from here.
I'm saying, who's happy at the end of this, right? You've got a fella who hasn't got a present over here because the mate bought him a goat, right? So yeah, let's do this properly. So there's a tick. He's not happy, right? Then you've got the person who's opened it, who, like you said, wanted something else, right? It's a goat. They go, who's going to look after this, right? So tick, they're not happy. And then you've got the goat going, what am I doing here? I'm just finding more and more things are annoying me.
Really?
Like, even, like, at that Sony's night, right, you've got a lot of respectable people going to that thing, you know, people who are high up at the BBC and that.
Yeah.
And just the way, you know, it's a posh night, there's people there with dinner jackets on and stuff.
Mm.
And then I went to the toilet for a wee. Old fella in there. I thought he looks like he's been in the, you know, the radio game for years, probably done loads of award-winning Sony stuff.
Yeah.
You know, all the BBC documentaries they do, in-depth stuff, and I thought, you know, I wonder if I'll be like him when I'm older, I wonder if I'm as good as him. Thinking all that, he's having a wee in the next urinal. Farts.
I know. Yeah.
He just farts. Old fella in a dinner jacket, probably hired. And I thought,
But is that like they try to? They think, well, I better do it in here, and it's sort of like a trumpet, and everyone just goes, yeah, that's fine. What's up with that? You know, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just the arrogance of doing it.
He just did it. It sounded like a lost whale. And he didn't sort of go and try and clinch it. He carried on, and then he went, oh, that was a good one.
Really?
Old fella, must have been about 70.
Oh dear.
And
well, better out than in.
Yeah.
But it's not though. I wasn't brought up like that. You see.
Right.
Because I did it. I mean, I never really did it that much as a kid.
Sure.
And then I was at my mum and dad's.
You never did it that much as a kid. What party?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not just like, you know, as a joke and that.
We are taping this for next year's Sony Award, aren't we? We're taping this, what we're talking about now, aren't we? To hand in. Because this is, go on.
But I was at my mum and dad's, right? And Suzanne was sat on the floor in front of me, and she was like, oh, rub my neck, it's hurting. So I thought, oh, and I hate doing that, it really it bores me.
Well,
right?
she's your girlfriend, for goodness sake.
I know, Dale Winton's different, you're getting paid for that, go on.
So I thought, the only way to shift her is I'll let one go, right? So I did that.
I love that!
It's such a loving relationship.
I love that, that's great!
So
like doing the washing up badly.
Yeah.
She won't ask me again, what have you done? I've smashed the cups up and I've written in excrement across the wall. Well, that's no good, isn't it? Well, I won't do it again then.
Give me the marigolds, I'll do it.
I've nailed the cat to the fridge, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Go on.
But yeah, so I did that, and it worked. She sort of got up and said, oh... And my dad said, what you do that for?
Yeah. What was he thinking?
So I said, oh, I hate rubbing her neck, does me head in. So he says, you know, I've never trumped in front of your mother for 40 years.
Sorry, where was this? Chigley? Why is this family talking like this? Young Carl, I've never trumped in front of your mother in the 35 years. What? I don't know what...
No, it's just that he said, you know, we've done a lot of things in the family. That
Hold on, what did he say that for? What, he's never trumped in front of your mother?
He just offered that information up.
Well, he just was surprised that I did it. He said, where have you got that from?
Yeah.
Whoa, you're lowering intestines, I'd thought. What do you have to imagine there's a class of farting. Oh, no. we haven't told our kids about farting. He doesn't do it. We haven't told him about it. We haven't. No, we don't do it in front of it. You have to learn it, do you?
No, but there's a place. That's what I was always told.
Go on.
There's a place for that.
Cornwall.
So, and my mum, you know, it's the same. She doesn't do it.
Right.
If she goes to the toilet to, you know, do what you got to do, she makes sure, like, she'll sort of say things like, "Are you going out for a walk?"
Are you going out for a walk?
Does she think? Does she know that you're broadcasting this?
Well, yeah.
She's probably around at the neighbours now, listening.
Yeah.
Any of you going out for a walk?
Yeah, just at the door.
So she waits until everyone's left, or?
She doesn't like the thought that everyone... Do you know, like, cats don't like you staring at them when they're doing it?
I've never stared at a cat while it was doing anything.
Have you ever had a pet cat?
What do you mean? Yeah, go on.
No, it's just that cats, you know, if you get them a little litter tray,
yeah.
I remember being told, like, no, when it does use it, don't sort of go and look at it.
It puts it off. I was the same as a kid. I didn't when I had a
What
nappy.
who comes and looks at you when you're on the bottom?
No. When I was a kid and I was in a nappy, right?
Yeah.
I used to always there was a corner in the kitchen that I'd always go to, and everyone would be
Why
like,
do you go to the toilet?
because I had a nappy on.
Oh yeah, right. How old were you?
14th birthday?
About 3 or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And I used to always go to this corner, and
Yeah.
everyone said, right, he's going to the corner. Don't watch, don't stare at him.
And the thing is, I can so imagine you because you've got the same head.
Yeah, you look like a baby.
It's just the pain in his head. Putting there. Would you put a nappy on for 50 quid?
Now.
Yeah. I'll just sitting, do your work, right?
Well, anyway,
Just sit in the
right?
corner.
So I'm not doing that, right?
Come on.
So yeah, my mum's like that, and something else she's good. I mean, people
no,
might
no,
want to know.
At dinner party, oh, it's Mrs. Pilkington just in the corner. Just don't look at her.
Yeah, don't look at Mrs. P.
She's just in the corner of our kitchen. Don't just look at her. What's she doing? She's just doing her business. She's there. There she is squatting. Are you going for a walk?
Sorry, you were saying, Carl.
Another trick I've learned from her, right? If you're using, say, a friend's toilet or something, and you don't want to leave your mark, just
go down the toilet and flush it.
Take a box of matches with you.
Yes.
Yeah. Set fire to the curtains.
Set fire to the curtains calls it his flagship.
Burn the place down, have a wonderful crap, and just leave when the fire brigade get there.
Alright, this is Yak, youtube.com/Yak. Please feel free to check out all my other compilations. Got 60 of them. Cheers.
It is hard eating.